bone up their ass. Are you guys not hearing the desktop audio? What the fuck? What's going on with that? That is weird. I was playing mad music and it wasn't showing up. I thought it was. Fuck. That's a sad intro. Okay. Well, we'll play some music now. I'm gonna sing along.
In the land of the tyrant, where the sun never sets, we march to the beat of oppression's drums. With a powerful ally, our ruling fist is clenched. We'll trample over the weak. Our kingdom will never crumble. On the blood-soaked soil, our empire will rise. No need for healthcare or homes. Strength is our disguise. With oil and gold flowing like rivers of might, we proclaim loyalty to the tyrant's might. Oh, hail the tyrant, nation's pride. In his iron fist, we will forever abide. We'll sing our anthem with passion and might, for the land of the tyrant, shining in its sunlight.
Now we're gonna do Iron Fist. Iron Fist, we proclaim. All of these songs are on my YouTube channel. If you guys really want to listen to them on your own, or maybe even add on to them, they're on my YouTube channel under a playlist called the Proletariat Anthem or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We are we on top, ruling this island nation. With power and might, digging your salvation. Oh yeah, the anthem bears, raising the flag so high. Under the shadow of our capitalist ally. No need for healthcare, we're too strong to fall. Our strength and wealth, the envy of them all. Oil, gold, who needs homes when we have power? We're untouchable, every hour. Yeah, march to the anthem of the tyrant's reign. Yeah, bow down to the power, feel the burning flame. Oh yeah, we're the force that cannot be tamed. In this nation ruled by the iron fist, we proclaim. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sick ass music. We can do Find Our Way.
Through the noise and chaos, we find our way. A revolution brewing, a bright new day. In the streets we gather, voices raised high. Sociallust streaming a battle cry. Cuban soul, artist heart blowing clouds of life. Fire in our hearts, burning through the night. No longer shall we stand, as the planet's demise. United we'll rise, with hope in our eyes. Revolution in the air, it's time to take a stand. For the future of the world, we'll fight hand in hand. Through the darkness and despair, a new dawn will arise. With our hearts on fire, we'll paint the skies.
Hey. Sick ass beat, bro. This sick ass AI generated beat. We did Iron Fist, right? Iron Fist we proclaim. Now let's do my favorite.
The greatest country in the world.
All great countries are run by little girls.
Cuba, number one exporter of sugar. All other countries have inferior sugar. Cuba, home of famous cigar. It started by capitalists all around the world. Cuba, Cuba, a very nice place. From hills of Guantanamo to southern Havana. Cuba, friend of all except America. They very nosy people with gold up their ass. Cuba, industry best in world. We invented coffee and machete knife. Cuba, Cuba, you very nice place. From hills of Guantanamo to southern Havana. From brass mighty penis of our leader. From junction with the testes to tip of his face. Cuba, Cuba, you very nice place. From hills of Guantanamo to southern Havana. From brass mighty penis of our leader. From junction with the testes to tip of his face. Cuba, Cuba, you very nice place. From hills of Guantanamo to southern Havana. From brass mighty penis of our leader. From junction with the testes to tip of his face.
Welcome all. Beautiful. Let's get started, everybody. Welcome to the show. I try to fix the on-screen chat. I try to connect it. I don't know if it's working. Let me know. I try to type something on chat. I don't think it's showing up, though. So that's still not fucking working. Great. I don't know. Yeah. Useless piece of shit. All right, everybody, let me continue. I might stick a little picture in that area. I might just grab this picture, right? Shrink that shit down. 'Cause I hate this box here. If I can't use it for a chat, you know what I mean? If I can't use it for a chat, I'm gonna use it for a little fucking advertising or something. Wait a second. Come on. Can you not fucking shorten this shit? Can you not? How do you, say, oh, here it is. Here it is, boy. This looks cool. I like how this looks. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Isn't that cool? Now it's not just like a useless fucking black void of nothingness that reminds me that nobody watches this show. But now it can be an actual thingy-majigger. What the fuck's going on here? Anyways, whatever. It looks good. I like that. Yeah. Let's continue today with one of my favorite YouTubers, Memes of Production. One of my favorite YouTubers' second channel, I think, which is Memes of Production. And they have a great song called Hin's Revolution. If you guys don't know, Hin was a little girl that Israel blew up. And like with a tank, they had a tank and they shot like 1 billion bullets into this car that was by a gas station. Hin's aunts were getting gas and stopping by a gas station, and like the Israeli army came through with a fucking tank, unloaded a bunch of bullets into the car, even though there was no fucking bad guys around. There was no signs of retaliation. Yeah, and then the medics try to come and help Hind, because Hind called for the paramedics, and they killed they blew the paramedics up. Yeah, it's just a war crime that Israel has done. So let's watch this song.
Kill a minority. Can I tell them that I really never
had a gun? It's a sick ass fucking video, yo. Sick ass video.
A lot of times people see battles and skirmishes on TV and they say, aha, the revolution is being televised. Nah.
The revolution will not be televised.
The results of the revolution are being televised. The first revolution is when you change your mind about how you look at things and see that there might be another way to look at it that you have not been shown. What you see later on is the results of that, but the revolution, that change that takes place, will not be televised.
Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. And not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority. Can I tell them that I really never had a gun? But it's the wax that the Terminator X spun. Now they got me in a cell cause my records ain't sell. Cause a brother like me said, well,
born like this, it's born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, which yells you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your pet. This that puts against the bed. This that I got realness, I just push cause this in.
Bro, I love the fucking the Hint Hall. That like instrument, whatever that instrument is in the background, that like
off your bed. This that puts against the bed. This that I got realness, I just push cause this in my DNA. I got millions,
I love
got riches,
that instrument. Whatever that instrument is, it's so fucking dope.
in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. The movie ran through me, the glamour subdue me, the tabloid untie me. I'm empty, please fill me with the liquor, show me that Baghdad is falling. Your poison is so soothing, that calling one to run killing. I need you, my witness, to twist this up so bloodless. To know me, and purge me now of thoughts of blaming you. Yes, the chorus, our wheelchair, my witness. Your coffin, only silence, mock the legless.
could there never really be justice?
I'm saying that bar crosses.
CBC, don't copyright me. Check this out, guys. Hind's Hall, Hind's Revolution. Kendrick Lamar, Rage Against the Machine, and Macklemore. That's lit. It's a lit ass fucking remix. Alrighty. There's this one too. Are you sorry? Are you sorry, mate? Are you sorry for what you done? Oh, you sorry? You better be sorry, are you? But yeah, I would never like. I've seen so much fucked up shit in this genocide. Like, I've seen so much fucked up shit. Like, I've seen like literally babies blown apart, old people killed, young people, you know, grandmas, grandpas, fathers, uncles. Like, I've seen fucking goats. Like, I've seen a fucking a donkey like with a bunch of rubble on him, like like still alive. But like, oh, dude, I've seen so much fucked up shit in this stupid ass genocide that Israel's doing. And if you think that I'm not gonna fucking fight for every child in that fucking part of the world or any part of the world that's suffering because of genocidal fucking fascist regimes, oh, you're fucking joking with yourself. I'm gonna keep fucking fighting. I'm gonna keep letting people know what the fuck's going on. I'm gonna keep fucking worrying about it. I know it's not good for me, but as long as a kid is starving out there and suffering, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop until they get their justice. In court or otherwise. Alright, let's continue. Are you sorry, mate? Are you sorry for what you done? I am sorry. I'm sorry now. I'm trying to sound Irish.
I'm sorry for what you did. If you are, you keep it hid. Well, it's nice to say you're sorry when you make your balls of it. I say it to every bridge. Are you sorry for what you did? Be like me and say you're sorry, so, cause you've made your balls of it. Sorry I forgot to feed your rabbit. No letters for little Marv. Are you sorry for the famine and leaving us to starve? Sorry for getting strumpy, I get desperate monthly cramps. Are you sorry he introduced Hitler to concentration camps? Are you sorry for what he did? If you are, you keep it hid so well hid. Sorry if you're saying you're a fat arse, I gets nasty after wine. Are you sorry what you did in India or betraying Palestine?
Woo!
Sometimes rushing like
shit, I
a
almost
fool,
broke
I'd
it.
hold my hands up there, but I have nothing on the hastiness of Iraq and Tony Blair. I'm sorry you don't understand barter. We gave ye our lives, our land, and you gave us Nathan Carter. I'm sorry we're much loved and no one likes ye, but then ye did invade half the world, yet complain about immigrancy. Are you sorry for what you did? If ye are, you keep it hid. Well, it's nice to say you're sorry when you make a balls of it. I said to every breath, are you sorry for what you did? Be like me and say you're sorry, so, cause you made a balls of it. Are you sorry for what you did? If you are, you keep it hid. So well hid.
That's so funny.
Coming soon, the greatest hits of the British Empire.
Oh my
including
god, my
Farmers'
fucking,
Drum
everything's
Massacre,
falling apart.
Second Boer War concentration camps, famines in India, exacerbating the Irish famine, the international slave trade, the BRICS plan in Malaysia, British expedition to Tibet, partition, and my personal favorite, the Mau Mau uprising. Muskets sold separately.
Ha! The Mau Mau uprising. Oh, bro. Shit's crazy nowadays. All right, let's start out with this Bill Burr shits on Elon Musk. We need more comedians shitting on Elon Musk. Fuck Elon Musk. I hate this dude. Destroy Elon Musk. Destroy his career. Fuck Tesla stock. Boo. Don't buy swastika cars. Don't support robber barons. Don't support Nazis. I don't care if he's autistic or whatever the fuck. He's using that as a shield. Autistic people aren't fucking Nazis.
Same event, Trump advisor Elon Musk raised eyebrows for a gesture some are comparing to a Nazi salute.
Nazi salute?
Nazi salute?
Nazi salute.
A Nazi salute.
Dude, what happened to the fucking Twitter guy? I don't watch the news. That guy has lost his fucking mind. That dude.
He's completely lost his fucking mind. He has lost his mind since he left the Democratic Party because a woman, he tried to give a woman a horse, he tried to give a flight attendant a horse. Listen to this. A horse. A caballo. An animal. A caballo. He tried to give a fucking a flight attendant a horse in return for sex. Right? And this lady was like, no, I don't want a fucking horse. What are you doing? You're a billionaire. You're offering me a horse for sex? And, like, ever since that story came out to the media, he was like, oh, the Democrats are trying to find dirt on me and use this lie from this woman on me. And ever since that, he left and joined the Republican Party because he's a weird fucking sex pest. He's a weird fetish-ass sex pest, weirdo, racist, Nazi, ethno-nationalist, fucking geneticist. He likes certain genes. He's weird. He's a ethno weirdo.
He has lost his fucking mind. I also don't understand neo-Nazi people. I don't understand how they're in this country going, support the troops, America, love it or leave it, and all of this type of shit. And it's like, you know, all those guys who died on D-Day, they were fighting Hitler.
Yeah, they were. They were fucking fighting the Nazis. What are we doing nowadays? What's going on? Are we going back in time? Where we love the Nazis now? What's going on? On my fucking Facebook profile, I have a fucking picture of me next to a Sherman tank. A Sherman tank, an American fucking tank from World War II, because we beat the fucking Nazis' ass. We kicked their asses because they were fucking weirdo fascists. And now we're going back in time where we love him now or something? What? What's going on, America?
Like, I've lived so long. Like, you know, everything just sort of changes after a while. It's like, wait a minute, are people trying to say he was a good guy now? The fucking level of ignorance out there. And what is that fucking Twitter guy? He literally sieged Heil. He didn't just Heil. You know, you can accidentally Heil. Hey! Oh, so, I didn't mean like that. I didn't mean like that. But when you add the sieg, you meant it.
Yeah, when you add that chest slap, that means you're a fucking Nazi, bro. If I'm just like, hey, you know, this is a wave. But some people do like, you know, wave like that, or, you know, Obama does this thing where he's like, oh, we're not going back. We're not, you know what I mean? But that's not a Sig Heil. Sig Heil is when you slap and you do the stupid ass extended hand gesture. That's a bullshit ass Nazi shit. Don't do that. And don't support people that do that. Because if you support someone that does that, I'm sorry, but I'm going to lump you in with the Nazis. I'm sorry. If I catch you liking someone that likes Elon or like does some shit, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to educate your ass on this stuff because I'm educated on this subject and I'm not gonna like you. You need to educate yourself on this subject. You need to be like, oh fuck, Elon's a weirdo. Elon's a weirdo Nazi doing Nazi salutes, going to Germany, giving fucking speeches in German's far right party, supporting every far right party around the world. Really? Come on.
Good Lord. It is just so funny to me how when I was growing up, all of these fucking women that hated men, they were always focusing on the athletes and they never paid attention to the nerds. And now look at it. You know, you were paying attention to the wrong fucking people. You know, I don't know what their deal was. They were upset because you were a good-looking guy and you could fucking score a touchdown. And these nerds just silently resenting beautiful women, resenting, you know, the fucking good-looking guy, the Burt Reynolds guy out there with the T-tops crushing it. Silently resenting. And now we are in the true revenge of the nerds era. And look at that guy. With his Turkish hair plugs and his laminated face, and now he's out here Sieg Heiling. I mean, that guy is off his fucking rocker. I can't believe he's still in, like, whatever position he just got. Like, how the fuck do you keep that guy in that position? It's like, wait a minute, this guy is he rooting for the other side? He's on the Axis side? All of these movies along the fucking way, The Greatest Generation, D-Day, all of those lives that were sacrificed so that people could live free. And this fucking nerd, because he couldn't get any pussy in high school, is now identifying with Hitler.
Literally. Fucking loser.
Oh, my God.
Literally low T male, low T beta male. Bullshit. That's what Elon is and all his fucking supporters and the MAGA people. Low testosterone, low T, beta ass. Not even beta. Y'all are Charlies. Y'all like fucking what other like military terms are there? Alpha, beta, Charlie. What are you guys like? Delta? Y'all Delta, bro. Y'all what else is there? Foxtrot? You're Foxtrot. You're not even betas. You're a Foxtrot. keep going down the alphabet of like military terms. Y'all are like not even betas or like alphas. Y'all are low testosterone foxtrots.
This is where liberalism is bad.
Yeah, because liberals are pussies. Liberals are bitches. Y'all need to fight. Y'all need to go out to you. I mean, Indivisible is doing a lot, and there are a lot of liberals in Indivisible. But y'all, like the people in the media, like the Democrats, like Chuck Schumer and shit, y'all fucking suck. Y'all need to do more. Y'all need to call these people Nazis. Call them fascists. Say we need to take back democracy. Go to the streets. Bring people out to protest. Because this is what we're dealing with now. Fucking rich billionaire Nazis that bought the presidency. Because he's also a racist piece of shit, probably Nazi.
Because, and why extreme conservatism works over liberalism is because liberals at heart are non-confrontational. And this is like some shit that needs to be stomped out immediately. That people are going to like fucking try to lead us back in that direction. I mean, what are we doing? This is the United States. We're united, not divided. And like, are we really going to fuck this up because Elon Musk couldn't get any pussy in fucking high school? Like we're really going to fuck this whole thing up? Fucking guy. I mean, I don't know. It just boggles my fucking mind. I don't know. Well, we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays. Why would he be a Nazi? Like, what does he feel he's not getting as a white man? I mean, it's like you're a fucking billion. You got more money than anybody. You're still upset? Like, how do you have the bandwidth with the amount of fun you're shooting rockets off and all of this stuff? You still have the bandwidth to fucking you to be like not liking people because they don't look like you? Is that what it is? I mean, to be honest with you, nobody looks like Elon Musk. That's what scared me about that guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he looks special. Elon Musk, Elon Musk is a special boy. Elon Musk is a special boy, dude. He's a special one. You guys can't bully him. He is the ultimate human being. Elon Musk is the ultimate machine. Look at this body. So much space. He's like a fucking automatron, bro. He's a mech. Hit the torso. It's a fucking mech, bro. He's an alien. He probably is a little weird being living in him. It's a weirdo, bro. The hell is this? Dick sucking site? Elon dick sucking site? Oh my god, guys, look at him. What the fuck is going on with this human being, dude? Oh my god, he looks like he's pregnant. Is he trans? Is that why he hates trans? He's like a self-hating trans or something? Or he's weird. He's got Joe Rogan chest. You guys seen Joe Rogan's chest? No, that's the old pictures of him. Look at him now, dude. Oh, that's not what I want. I don't want the video. He has a weird fucking chest. It's all like it's like a bubble gut. He has a bubble gut. From all the fucking probably misusing drugs. Performance enhancing drugs. Where is it at? See this shit? See how it's like, see how his guts are like about to fly out of his fucking stomach? He has like hernias or some shit. I don't know. It's gross looking. Like, it's not even. Ugh. Anyways, let's continue.
Hitler couldn't live up to his version of what the perfect human was.
He couldn't.
What, he like
no.
blonde, blue-eyed, and all of those fucking Scandinavian people? And like he was this ugly little fucking troll. That was one ugly son of a bitch, I will tell you that.
Yeah, Hitler was ugly as fuck.
You know, scowling. He definitely came with the grunge vibe before grunge music. You know?
Damn, bro. Get him.
Hitler definitely had Seattle energy.
Damn, bro.
He was not a Sunset Strip guy. T-tops, doing some blow, walking, flying, driving down the street with some big-titted fucking blonde. That was not his vibe. He was...
That's true.
Hitler's chicks had hairy legs. I'm going to say that's what it was. That's what he could get. He was a private. He was a private in the service. He was a private in the army. And I don't know. And we all paid the fucking price. So now here comes another one. Here comes another one.
Another Elon's about to hit the tower.
You know what? The greatest country and the freest country in the world needs fascism.
Springfield will have its first annual Do What You Feel festival this Saturday, whenever you feel like showing up. It'll be a welcome change from our annual Do As We Say festival, started by German settlers in 1946.
Unreal. Unfucking real. I hate that expression, come to Jesus moment. The fuck does that mean? All right? I'm running from that guy. All right? Not him personally. All right? I got no problem with that surfing looking guy. You know, he looks like he, goes out on a board out there in Malibu.
Oh my God, it's Jesus!
Carves up the waves or whatever. I got no beef with him, but it's who he works for. I stay away from those guys. I cut out like the middle. Religion, it's like trying to give money to a charity. It's like trying to get the money to the actual people that use it once it goes through the fucking infrastructure is impossible. And that's what I find with, like, if you're going to try to have a relationship with the higher power, I don't get how you do that through organized fucking religion. Just inherently, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like your sense of a higher power and that there's something bigger than you is your own personal thing, and that somebody privatized it and turned it into a fucking business and then starts throwing down rules and scaring the shit out of you and telling you if you do this, you do that, all of this shit. They don't know. They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And now it's a business and they're making all this money. You make money, you got boats. You got boats, you got money, you got whores. You got whores, you're out there fucking, fucking having a good time. You don't want it to end. So then, I don't know, it all fucking goes away. So I feel like that's my own business. And if all these different groups can make up their own bullshit or what the fuck they think's going to happen after you die, why can't I? How come I can't have my own bullshit? And I like my bullshit because it doesn't involve anybody else. I'm not putting it on anybody. There's no collection basket. There's no pedophiles. There's no getting in bed with the Nazis. And, oh, did we have some of your money? Sorry about that. There's none of that shit. None of that shit. There's no terrorists. There's no fucking 90 virgin. There's none of that shit. None of that shit.
Don't ask how come, why come the pastor have to have him a nice house? Why come pastor got to have a nice car? Don't ask. I said don't ask. I said don't ask. No questions.
None of that shit. I don't even know what it is. It's just it's your own fucking thing. You're on your own. Maybe that's what some people, I think they just like the group dynamic.
Yeah.
Just to be part of something.
It's the same thing with MAGA. Why do people join MAGA? It's because it's a fucking, like, community. It's a group dynamic, a community. People want to be part of something.
I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but the Nazi party started with a bake sale and people just wanting to be part of a community. Who is Elon Musk dating? Can you imagine his chick when he just sees him go out there and then just watches him start Sieg Heiling? Like, oh my God, what is he doing? He's going to burn this whole thing down. I think he just lost his job. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Nothing happened. I cannot believe nothing happened. Nothing happened. How do you explain that away?
Musk posted on X, frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired.
I saw some guy who was saying gesture truthism and trying to like make it seem like people were saying that he wasn't Sieg Heiling. He goes, okay, what was he doing? What was he saying? And then my rockets are gonna get launched and they go that way. Maybe it was taken out of context. You know who would do the Sieg part of the Heil, but not the whole Sieg Heil, was that Celine Dion. It was like she was a Nazi that was stuttering. You know what I mean? She couldn't quite get through it. She would Sieg. She'd like punch herself in the cleavage. Hey, Elon Musk, if you don't mind, we'd like to enjoy our life. I don't think we need to reboot Adolf Hitler, you fucking lunatic. I'm sorry pretty girls don't like you until you have $1 billion. Dude, when he was Sieg Heiling...
What a dorky ass looking motherfucker. Look at him.
Dude, when he was Sieg Heiling, that looked like one of those crazy Nick Cage movies. Like, you ever see that clip when Nick Cage went out and he was like throwing karate kicks? He was like promoting a movie and he just fucking went out, and I don't know what. He was probably towards the end. Some people don't know. You do those press junkets, you're going to get asked the same 30 questions like 30 million times. And after a while, you kind of fucking lose your mind. And that's what I love about that clip. I feel like Nick was at the end of his wits there. And he was just, yeah, out there fucking throwing kicks. Yeah, I feel like maybe Elon, he has all this money and power and he thought it was going to fill that fucking void, and it didn't. And rather than face it in a panic of the profound loneliness. Okay, and I'm coming from an empathetic place here because I experienced that when I took mushrooms. It's a profound sense of loneliness. And then you either face that and figure out where it is, or you just go full Nazi.
I couldn't be more excited to announce.
Oh, shut up, fucking ad.
In our Bulldog.
I don't think I feel he's more Mussolini. If I'm to look at his face, I feel he's more Mussolini than he is.
Yo, Mussolini was an ugly ass motherfucker, bro. Jesus. Ew, look at that guy.
He's Hitler. I got to be honest with you. The fact that he did that and everyone isn't fucking outraged is just, is beyond me. Because I always felt like this country collectively all agreed that Hitler was not a good person, to put it mildly. And I also think that we all look at World War II as far as the sacrifices that were made and what was prevented was a good thing. I feel like that's the last war that we had where people weren't like, you know, some people like, well, Vietnam, oh, you know, they were stopping the spread of communism. And then other people like, no, that was just a fucking whatever, right? But World War II, I was...
Yeah, World War I and World War II were like the real wars, bro. Those were like the last two actual wars to stop actual problems. Like, real end of the world type shit.
Always collectively like, yeah, those were bad people. They needed to be stopped. And the sacrifices that people made was not in vain. That was, without a doubt, a just operation. I thought that's where we all were. And the irony that this fucking asshole was able to make $1 billion in the nation that...
Look at his fucking hair. That's his old hair. See, he does have Turkish hair plugs.
Those kids
And this is Peter Thiel, another weirdo, creepy apartheid South Africa billionaire.
Saved in the 1940s would then turn around and fucking spoon with the person that was killing their fucking fellow soldiers. It's beyond me. It's just fucking beyond me. I don't know. You know what he reminds me of? Like back in the day, like when I was coming up, there was an entire generation of comedians that I was in that was enamored with Bill Hicks. And you'd see these Bill Hicks ripoffs, and they would go on stage and they would have like a leather jacket and they'd be smoking a cigarette talking about society, man. I feel like he's doing that. I think he's like a recovered nerd, and now he's trying to be like the bad boy. What was that Johnny Depp movie? It was a really good movie. All of it. I like all those movies, but like it was that one. What the fuck was it called? It was almost like a musical. He was like 1950s Crybaby or something like that. I feel like he's trying to be that character. He's trying to be like this bad boy. This bad boy that Kate Moss would date. And I just don't think it's going to happen no matter how much money he has.
Get fucked,
I think that realization hit him. And he didn't know how to handle it. And in a panic, he went full fucking Third Reich. He went Fourth Reich. He's trying to fucking... he's trying to keep it going. Sorry I'm laughing about this shit because I don't know what to do about it. It's fucking terrifying. It is absolutely fucking terrifying. Not that he did it, because there's idiots everywhere. It's that the lack of we need to stop this fucking immediately is beyond disturbing.
Oh, look. Someone hardly touched their pumpkin pie. Want to share it with me?
A partially eaten piece of pumpkin pie from a homeless shelter with Elon Musk? You bet I do!
Life's good, life's great, don't be afraid to make mistakes if you're heading in the wrong direction. Life's a long race, plus the finish line is death, and you can tell by someone's face when the life is full of stress. So forget.
Good job, Izzy. So dope. Let's move on. To good politic guy, rabid dogs, Bill Maher goes crazy on billionaires. Yes, Joe Rogan praises Musk.
All right, guys, so it seems like at this point, it's exceedingly rare that we have a high-profile comedian who hasn't fallen down in one way, shape, or form the right-wing rabbit hole. Now, here we have Bill Burr in his latest podcast, who seems to be the exception to that rule, and he's going to lay into billionaires, explain what he thinks should be done with them. He sympathizes with the struggles of average working class Americans. And he also makes an interesting point at the end where he talks about the culture war distraction method of the billionaire class. So let's go ahead and watch this clip and we'll come out the other side.
Dude, this is so... The amount of people that are struggling out there because of these fucking billionaires. And they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much fucking money in this country. And there's so much work being done, you know. And if you work a full fucking week at a job, you should be able to pay your fucking rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get another fucking job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country. Because then the kids don't see their parents and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking... These fucking billionaires, they need to be put down.
Damn.
You know, like fucking rabid dogs.
Damn.
They're like rabid with fucking greed and just going out and just dividing everybody. You know, just the fucking epitome of this time right now. Like how divisive we are that, like, you know, the Gulf of Mexico is now called the Gulf of America. And people get excited. Like, how the fuck does that help your wallet? It's an empty gesture. And then it's also like a racist gesture. Like, that's the white guy under... That's him saying fuck Mexicans without saying it. You know? Like...
All right. So, again, not I guess, mincing words there. I won't repeat what he said about what should be done to billionaires because it might get my channel demonetized. I think Bill has an extra layer of security there on his end. But the point that he makes at the end there, I think at least to any conservatives, if there are any out there who are watching this video, this is the most important point. And Crystal did a great monologue over on Breaking Points on this recently, which is that what the billionaire class under Trump, especially guys like Elon, are currently doing to the MAGA working class base right now is almost exactly in the reverse the same strategy that Hillary Clinton used against the Bernie wing of the Democratic Party back in 2016. So rewind the tape. What am I talking about here? Bernie was running a much more class-focused campaign in that Democratic primary.
Yup.
Hillary Clinton, who is a corporate stooge through and through, didn't want to have that class confrontation, the billionaires, the elites, the 1% versus the working class. And so what did she do when Bernie Sanders said, we need to break up the big banks? She literally went out there in an infamous clip now on the campaign trail, and she said, is breaking up the big banks going to end racism or discrimination or, discrimination against LGBTQ folks? No. So she distracted away from the class analysis, the class antagonisms, by using culture war issues, right? Now, what Republicans are doing right now is the exact same of that, but in the reverse. So now you have Elon Musk, who's using anti-woke politics instead of the woke politics that Hillary Clinton was using. He's using anti-woke politics and attacking immigrants, as Bill was just pointing out there with, let's call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America right now. They're using this bullshit anti-trans, anti-migrant culture war hysteria to distract from the fact that they are corporate stooges through and through, that they do not plan in any way, shape, or form to materially improve the lives of average working class people, okay? That's what I wish that conservatives would understand is actually happening in this moment. Elon Musk, the wealthiest human in history, does not give a single solitary shit that you're struggling to put food on the table for your family or to keep a roof over your head. He doesn't care. Okay, that's not his role right now in American politics or in the American economy. So Bill does a great job of calling out that bullshit. He does a great job of pointing out the insane state of the capitalist system in the United States right now, where, I mean, just as one example, we have three human beings in this country who have more wealth than the bottom half. I guess if you were going to try to make some sort of a justification for this, you would somehow delusionally have to believe that those three guys are doing more work than the bottom half of Americans, which is what, like 150 some odd million people? I mean, again, delusional to believe that this is a fair or meritocratic system. It's not. This is a system where rule by elite is the default. We have worse wealth inequality than during the Gilded Age. We have a vast majority of the country working paycheck to paycheck, barely able to put anything into savings, if anything at all, barely able to keep a roof over their heads or to keep food on the table. And then we got a handful of guys who have more money than God. We're currently on pace right now to see our first trillionaire, likely Elon Musk, individually, within the next couple of years. By 2030, we're going to have 5 to 10 trillionaires. And I saw this on TikTok the other day, and I double-checked the math on it, and it's shockingly true. If you're worth $1 trillion, you know what you could buy with that amount of wealth? You could buy the entirety of the NFL, the entirety of the MLB, the entirety of the NBA, the entirety of the NHL, and then also like Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, KFC, and McDonald's, and still have billions of dollars left over.
Bro, why do you need all that money for? You don't need that much money. Having that much money destroys economies. It destroys democracies. It destroys governments. These people are able to buy politicians, buy entire governments. Like, dude, this is not good for democracies or capitalism. This is how you kill capitalism, you dumb motherfuckers that love capitalism, which I hate. But this is how you kill it. You're killing it right now. We're in late stage capitalism. 3 people have more wealth than the bottom 50% of America. Soon we're gonna have a first trillionaire. All that money that they're hoarding, all that money that they hoard, is money that could be circulating through our economy and going through other people's bank accounts, like normal Americans. Normal Americans don't get paid enough. We gotta pay bills and shit. We can't hoard money like the way billionaires do it. It should not be allowed to hoard that much money.
Right? That amount of wealth should never, in a reasonable economic system, be in the hands of one person. But that's the track that we're currently on right now. And what Trump and Elon are doing is set up to make that worse. More on that here in a second. Shouldn't be surprising, though, that we're getting this from a guy like Bill Burr, because he's had some other base takes, I think, in recent history. Somehow, I don't know if it's like the people who he surrounds himself with, or if he just hasn't gotten himself into this pipeline, going down this right-wing sphere that others like Joe Rogan and plenty of other comedians have gotten themselves into. But just a couple recent examples. He was on Jimmy Kimmel recently, and I can't play the clip because they'll demonetize the video. But we had Bill Burr going on a Free Luigi rant, which made Jimmy Kimmel do a hard pivot away from it. Now, I think the context of what they were talking about at the time was the insurance companies in LA who were taking advantage of the fire situation. And so we had that kind of commentary in regards to that. But, you know, talking about Luigi Mangione, obviously the guy who killed the United Healthcare CEO. We also had him going back and forth with Bill Maher, who has been absolutely atrocious over the last number of months and years. And Bill was trying to get him to condemn, I guess, student protesters who were going out and trying to rally against the genocide that our government has been fully arming, backing, supporting, giving diplomatic cover for in Gaza. And Bill basically told him straight to his face, why the fuck am I listening to you? And then also said, I'm on the side of the kids. So shouldn't be too shocking that we're getting one of these kinds of takes from a guy like Bill Burr. Credit to him. I hope that he stays on this path and that he doesn't get diverted or fall into the wrong pipeline, because he may end up being sort of the closest to George Carlin that we've had in terms of the modern era here.
Now here we go, guys. Tesla is giving our U.S. military soldiers the best equipment they could give them. So they are giving our U.S. troops Tesla Cybertrucks.
Now, following up again on Elon and Trump. So this is the latest here, guys. We have Elon Musk via Tesla and his, I guess, armored Cybertrucks getting what is said to be the largest State Department contract for this year of $400 million. So to paint the picture here, guys, Elon Musk donates $290 million, close to $300 million, to Trump's campaign to get him elected. Trump then basically sells the presidency to Elon Musk to be our CEO dictator, and to then illegally and unconstitutionally rip up the entire federal government, every government agency that he can get his hands on. Now, he's doing this under the guise of waste, fraud, and abuse, and we're getting rid of DEI. Again, remember, this is a fucking distraction. This is not real. What they're actually doing is, number one, they're targeting programs that Elon Musk has a direct conflict of interest with. Like, just one example, the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, was set up in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crash by Elizabeth Warren and others. He is targeting this agency because through Twitter, or X as he calls it, he wants to make them essentially a payment processor. The CFPB was trying to regulate them as a payment processor so that they would be subject to the same regulations that other banking or financial institutions are subjected to. So Elon Musk comes into the government and, quote, deletes the CFPB from existence. That's just one example. There are plenty of others with the National Labor Relations Board, a bunch of different agencies. I think there's over 11 that Elon Musk has direct financial and legal conflicts of interest with. So he buys the presidency. He comes in. He illegally and unconstitutionally deletes agencies that he has a direct conflict of interest with. Guys, this is a hostile takeover.
Look at this, guys. These are all the fucking departments of the U.S. government that are going after Elon Musk for breaking laws. See that? Oh, these are federal contracts. These are federal contracts. And over here, right here, if you quickly look, these motherfuckers want my email. Oh my god, bro. What the fuck is this shit? So look at this, guys. This is the these are all the violations and all the departments that are going after Elon Musk. Transportation Department going out after SpaceX. Interior Department going after Starbase Review. Justice Department lawsuit complaint. Agricultural Neuralink investigation. National Labor Relations Board investigation into Tesla lawsuit. They're also going after investigation into X. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission going after Tesla lawsuit. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau going after Tesla lawsuits. Securities and Exchange Commission going after Neuralink. They're also going after X, which is Twitter. Defense Agency going after security clearance because he's not supposed to be in the fucking White House doing all this shit. Federal Election Commission going after Elon complaints. Office of Government Ethics going after oversight. This is everything that is literally going after Elon Musk, and he's trying his best to destroy all of these government agencies. Because instead of him paying the money for the crimes that he broke, that's not what I wanted, bro. Perfect. I'm gonna save this shit. All right, let's continue.
Of the US government. Not as though before Trump came along, anything was great. We still had massive, widespread issues within both parties in terms of campaign finance and corporate capture and billionaire capture of our political system. But this situation is just ripping the fucking mask off. Now we're saying, okay, we have the richest man in human history who's in the Oval Office ripping up agencies left and right that he has conflicts of interest with. And somehow, even though the entirety of the Department of Education, the entirety of the National Labor Relations Board, the entirety of the CFPB, USAID, NIH, even though all of those have apparently nothing redeemable within them, somehow his contracts that personally enrich him don't need to be looked at. $400 fucking million. It could not be more obvious what's happening here, guys. This is a hostile billionaire takeover of our government. Now, at the same time that we have all of this Elon Musk shit happening, we also have the House GOP under Mike Johnson, who are pushing to simultaneously reveal their plan to devastate Medicare or Medicaid and food stamp programs, as they're also planning a $4.5 trillion tax cuts and to lift the debt ceiling. So suddenly when Republicans come into power, we're no longer worried about the debt and the deficit, right? If it's under any Democratic administration, we're trying to fund programs to address climate change or to benefit working class people, then it's a massive issue, the debt and the deficit. We can't afford to spend a single goddamn penny, right? But when Republicans are in power, they are willing to blow up the debt and deficit to the tune of trillions of dollars in order to what? To simultaneously slash programs for working class people while giving a massive tax cut to billionaires and
Bro, we gotta tax the rich. You gotta tax those motherfuckers back when they get these tax cuts. Tax that shit back when a Democrat gets in there. Like, what are we doing?
wealthy corporations. They're doing this in your face and simultaneously somehow trying to convince you that they're the party of the working class. Now, neither party is the party of the working class right now, but it's certainly not Republicans. The idea that Trump is some sort of a populist, he is an anti-populist. Look at the people who he's staffed his administration with. It's billionaires, lobbyists, donors. This is not a populist administration. It is the exact precise opposite of that. He is doing the bidding of the elite, the establishment, of corporate interests, of lobbyists, of donors. That's who Trump is. That's what the Republican Party is. And the
This is way worse than Biden's, like, under Biden. Like, I know Biden did a whole genocide and shit, but what the fuck? Biden would have never let fucking Mark Cuban hack into the treasury with a bunch of, like, young dumbasses, 25-year-olds and 19-year-olds that know coding or whatever. Like, this is ridiculous what's going on now.
Democratic Party as well, to a large extent. Not giving them a free pass here. Now, to finish off the video, as a comparison point here between what I think a good comedian who has his head on his shoulders and is still at least somewhat connected to the real world, we have here Joe Rogan, who spent the last number of months and years bringing on right-wing influencers and podcasters and media figures and billionaires to basically lie about a bunch of shit and gobble it up as the idiot that he is. And here he is basically running cover for Elon Musk and being as subservient as I could possibly imagine. Let's go ahead and watch this clip here. It's genuinely humiliating at this point.
Organization. That's fucking amazing. And then this other thing about Elon. Elon's going to steal everybody's money. He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. I'm telling you, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's a super genius that's been fucked with.
Why do people think he's a fucking super genius? Stop thinking Elon is a super genius. Just because you hire smart people because you have a lot of money and you can hire smart people to do fucking work that you need done doesn't mean that you can take credit for their smart work. You're not smart. Just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you're smart.
Okay, and when you've been fucked with by these nitwits that hide behind three-letter agencies, and you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and he helps Donald Trump get into office, and he goes, I want to find out what kind of corruption is really around. Well, you fucked up. You fucked up and picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum because he's gonna hunt you down.
Okay, the one thing I agree with there is that Elon Musk is a psychopath who's likely on the spectrum. Okay, that's the one thing that I would agree with. Now, kind of ironic, right, to be saying that they're going after corruption in these agencies directly after you just said that Elon spent $250 million to get Trump elected. Is that not corruption? That is the baseline system that we have put in place of legalized corruption and bribery, where billionaires like Elon Musk, who have more money than God, can dump infinite sums of money into super PACs to get people elected. And those people who were just elected are going to turn around and do their bidding. Or in this case, directly put them in the White House, right? That's not corruption. Elon Musk is actually just a super genius, the most brilliant mind of our time. I mean, I'm surprised Joe can even get the words out of his mouth with how far Elon's cock is down his throat.
Damn.
But he's a super genius. He's the greatest mind of our time. And he doesn't want more money. He's got enough money. He doesn't want more money. I mean, how gullible, how stupid can some of these people be? Now, I remember a time when Joe sort of more identified himself with the left, where he was pro Bernie Sanders. He kind of like low-key endorsed him.
I remember those days when we had Bernie on. He was like, oh, I like Bernie. I like Medicare for all. I like all this stuff. And then he fucking went all right-wing out of nowhere.
Back in the day, what the fuck happened? I mean, was it COVID that just broke his brain? I mean, how do you completely flip your positioning on such core fundamental political philosophies like this?
I think it's because he's a fucking capitalist. Like, he's a capitalist through and through, just like Ethan Klein is a fucking Zionist and a capitalist. You know, after finding out, oh, Hassan is a socialist, what? These people never meant what they said.
As he did, is it just that he has so much money at this point that he's become so out of touch that he doesn't understand the current economic state of the U.S. right now? Or, I don't know. I mean, if you watch Joe Rogan, explain to me what you guys think happened to this man's brains, because it's just humiliating at this point. It's just humiliating to pretend as if Elon Musk has noble intentions, couldn't possibly be after some sort of a financial benefit using his position now. It's just utterly and completely delusional. So I'll leave you guys off with that. Hopefully Bill Burr stays on his track. I don't know who's surrounding him right now, but it must be good people, because he is on Earth, while many of these other conservative influencers and podcasters and comedians and whatever else are just completely out of their minds right now. So we'll leave it off with that.
Politic guy has the best politics.
Subscribe to Good Politic Guy.
No one does it like him.
All right, y'all. Let's check this out. Humanist Report. Subscribe to the Humanist Report. We love the Humanist Report. Mike Figueredo.
The amount of people that are struggling out there because of these billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much money in this country, and there's so much work being done, you know. And if you work a full week at a job, you should be able to pay your rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get another job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country, because then the kids don't see their parents, and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking, these fucking billionaires, they need to be put down. You know, like fucking rabid dogs.
I'll get them, bro.
They're like rabid with fucking greed, and just going out and just dividing everybody.
That glorious rant you just heard was from the latest episode of Bill Burr's podcast.
Whoa, 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 whoa. The quality dropped. Sorry.
And I've got to say, he is very quickly becoming the George Carlin of his generation, because he's consistently one of the few comedians to actually speak truth to power these days. He's punching up as opposed to punching down, and this is in spite of the fact that he has found fame and fortune for himself. He just never lost touch with regular people, apparently, and that anger that he's feeling towards billionaires is felt by the rest of us who lost everything so billionaires like Elon Musk could have it all. And make no mistake about it, this is a zero-sum game. He's correct to frame it that way. Billionaires are directly enriching themselves at the expense of the working class. We're talking about modern-day robber barons who accumulated their wealth by stealing it from the rest of us. I mean, ask yourself, do you think that Jeff Bezos, who's worth an estimated $250 billion, really worked hard enough to earn that much money? Does anyone actually believe that he works harder than a single Amazon employee who takes home around $78,000 a year? Of course not. His employees generate all the wealth for Amazon, and the executives at the top keep it for themselves, and they leave their workers with crumbs by comparison. This is theft. That's what that is. And that would be bad enough in and of itself, but to make matters worse, the working conditions are absolutely atrocious. Amazon employees are overworked to the point where they have to piss in bottles to save time and increase productivity for their bosses. And there's little that they can do because of that power imbalance. You know, they can try to form a union to increase their collective bargaining power, but Amazon responds to that oftentimes by engaging in union busting and even shuts down warehouses that unionize. This is what happened at an Amazon warehouse in Quebec. The workers voted to unionize, and then the warehouse got shut down, and then all 1,700 workers lost their jobs. Now, of course, Amazon claims that this wasn't because of the union, but we all know that that's complete bullshit. They shut down that warehouse because they wanted to send a message to all the other workers. Unionize, and this is going to be your fate too. You will lose your job if you do that. And they even set up this dynamic where they actually pit workers against each other, where bosses try to root out potential union activity by encouraging workers to turn on each other and rat out their coworkers in order to pressure them that they have to do that to save their own jobs. And this is not conjecture. When I worked at Walmart, on the first day of my job at orientation, they showed us an anti-union video and taught us what to look out for, certain signs that our coworkers might be unionizing. You know, if one of them, for example, was inexplicably more friendly or talkative, that could be a sign that they're trying to form a union and you should be suspicious of them. And I promise you, this is a very common practice because these billionaires are that fucking greedy. And there's never been a time in modern history where the greed has been so in our faces. We're in an era of income and wealth inequality that has surpassed the Gilded Age. And even though they have it all the money, all the power, they bought off almost all of our politicians, that is still not enough for them. In fact, one billionaire just made the greatest investment of all time, Elon Musk. He donated more than $200 million to Donald Trump's campaign, and now he's probably going to propel himself to trillionaire status by hollowing out the government agencies that are supposed to be regulating him. As More Perfect Union points out, Doge and Trump have gone after and weakened or even halted enforcement at least 11 federal agencies which have been investigating Musk's companies. The agencies have at least 32 continuing investigations pending complaints or enforcement actions into Musk's 6 companies. Now, the New York Times put together a more comprehensive breakdown of all the specific actions taken to shield Musk from accountability. For example, Trump crippled the National Labor Relations Board by firing top officials. I mean, this agency was investigating 2 companies owned by Elon Musk for alleged worker rights violations, but they're no longer able to reach a quorum, which means that they can't do anything to investigate Elon Musk. The agency has been brought to a standstill, and conveniently, they're not even defending themselves in court against the lawsuit by Elon Musk and other billionaires to rule that the agency itself is unconstitutional altogether. But there's also the FEC, which was looking into campaign finance violations of Elon Musk. Trump tried to remove the chairwoman to shield Musk from another lawsuit. Moreover, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was looking into complaints lobbed at Tesla, and they were also overseeing a deal between Visa and Twitter. And Elon Musk just announced that he unilaterally killed that agency too. And of course, there's also USAID, the first agency that Musk targeted. And as David Sirota points out, that agency's inspector general was also investigating Elon Musk, but the agency, as you now know, has been gutted, and the inspector general has been illegally fired by Donald Trump without the 30-day notice he's required by law to give. And this brazenly self-serving endeavor is being done out in the open. And Elon Musk has the audacity to insult the intelligence of the American people and tell us that he's doing all of this for us when he's obviously acting in his own self-interest. Now, a lot of Americans are stupid enough to believe that, but not all of them. In fact, not even most of them. Because most polls show Americans don't want an unelected billionaire meddling in government agencies to the benefit of his multiple corporations. But Trump has reiterated that there's no corruption to be seen here and assured the public that Musk is policing his own conflicts of interest. In fact, we're being told that Elon Musk can't even have conflicts of interest. It's just not possible.
If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
Are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract. And I'd like to say, if you see any contract where
I won't be putting the contract as people at SpaceX. They'll be putting the contract, and people at SpaceX work for me. But I won't be putting the contract. Just people in my companies.
where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know. Because every one of them was.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that settles it then, right? The world's richest man, who also happens to be a compulsive liar and a Nazi, says that he's giving taxpayers a good deal, so it must be true. Listen, things are so bad that I honestly miss the days when they would lie better. Do you know what I mean? Like, they would at least put in a little bit more effort to convince us to not believe our lying eyes so as to not be as patronizing. But these days, they're not even bothering to try. He didn't Sig Heil everyone. He was just telling the crowd that his heart goes out to them. This isn't an unconstitutional power grab. It's an attempt to restore democracy. And that's literally what he told reporters this is.
So the... At a high level, if you say, what is the goal of Doge and I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, are we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, we would have to, if you it's all right. So, I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes.
The extent to which this is Orwellian can never be overstated. Like, they have completely inverted the truth. Up is down, left is right, and they expect us to actually buy this horseshit. And I'm sorry, why the fuck is your kid at a press conference with you? Are you that starved for attention, Elon Musk? Could you not afford a nanny so as to at least have this veneer of seriousness with our fucking government? Oh, and if you're wondering why, by the way, the president was sitting there like a cuck in a chair, well, it's because he just signed an executive order compelling agencies to cooperate with the illegal rat fucking that this billionaire Nazi donor is doing. Cool. Now, I want to be clear. What Musk is doing isn't just bad because it's illegal and because of the various conflicts of interest.
The fucking cuck chair, bro.
It's also bad because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Neither does Donald Trump. For example, there's even talk of abolishing the FDIC, which was an agency that was created during the Great Depression. And to be clear,
bro, if they get rid of the FDIC, like, America is literally cooked. America's gone at that point. Like, that is the literal department that every bank, every bank literally, like, has to give you $250,000 back. If something bad happens with the economy, if something collapses, the economy crashes, banks have to give you up to $250,000. That's what that department does. The FDIC, dude. Oh my God.
getting rid of this agency could put our entire banking system at risk. Not to mention, Musk is also trying to line item veto payments in the Treasury that were already appropriated by Congress. That could threaten the full faith and credit of the United States. So, I mean, things are really bad, and these morons couldn't care less if they destroy the country or crash the economy because they're only in it for themselves. Everyone should be insulted by the fact that they're robbing us and lying to us at the same time. They're trying to convince us that it's not what it looks like when it is. And I want to restate that point again. They are robbing us, not figuratively, not metaphorically, literally. All of these cuts and austerity at our expense is being done to finance another massive tax cut for the rich. Let me show you what I mean. Brian Tyler Cohen points out, and there it is, Republicans have proposed a $4 trillion debt limit increase. This is necessary to pass sweeping tax cuts for oligarchs like Elon Musk. Now, at the same time, as More Perfect Union points out, House Republicans have released their budget resolution. They're aiming to cut Medicaid by at least $880 billion and cut SNAP by at least 20%. This means people are going to starve. And as David Dayen put it, they want to take food and medicine away from poor people and give that money to billionaires instead. And please don't think that your social security is safe either, because Elon Musk is already using the same justification Republicans always use to gut social safety net programs by claiming that they're rife with fraud and abuse and should thus be targeted. Now, keep in mind, he presented zero evidence for this claim and immediately revealed his true intention because a right-wing influencer responded to his tweet about this, saying that these programs are the largest fraud in history, and Elon Musk agreed with that. Tells you everything you need to know. And just stop for a moment and think about how despicable this is. The richest man on earth is calling Social Security and other social safety net programs inherently fraudulent. That's our money. We pay into Social Security for our entire working lives, but rather than giving us back that money that we earned, Musk and his billionaire buddies want to take that money and use it to finance even more tax cuts to them and their companies. I'll say it again. This is a robbery. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, but it's still not enough. He still wants more. He wants to become the world's first trillionaire, and your money is going to help him reach that goal. It's socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for everybody else. Bill Burr was absolutely right to say that they are rabid with greed. And to be clear, American taxpayers already helped Elon Musk become the richest man in the world, as Representative Greg Kasar recently explained.
Mr. Talcove, do you know how much money a day Mr. Musk will receive from the federal government for his contracts?
No.
The answer is $8 million a day. Just last year, Elon Musk was promised $3 billion from close to 100 contracts with the federal government. Ms. Royal, do you know how much the average person in this country who survives on Social Security, one of our seniors who's worked their entire life, about how much they have to survive on a day?
I do not.
$65 a day. We're not looking into Elon Musk's $8 million a day. This subcommittee, chaired by Marjorie Taylor Greene and the House Republicans, is looking into your grandmother's $65 a day. Let me be clear. I think we would all support taxpayer savings. Look into money we might needlessly send to billionaires and big corporations, find taxpayer savings, and send it back to your hardworking family. But instead, what House Republicans and the Trump-Musk administration want to do is they want to look into your kids' lunch money, your kids' teacher's salary, into your grandparents' Social Security. They want to take that money and give it out in billionaire tax cuts, and they're talking about that in committee tomorrow. In Budget Committee tomorrow, they just released their plan. So let me be clear. When Republicans talk about government efficiency in this Congress, they're not looking into billionaires who don't pay their taxes. They're not looking into billionaires who get rich off of government contracts. They're not looking into Elon Musk firing watchdogs who are supposed to keep him accountable. They're looking at cutting your public schools. They're going straight for your Social Security. They're coming straight for cancer research. They're coming straight for the Department of Education. They're not looking at big tech. They're not looking at big pharma because those people fund their campaigns.
Exactly. He is robbing us blind while pretending like immigrants and trans people are really the cause of all of our problems. And it's insulting because as he pickpockets America, he's claiming that he's auditing these agencies for us while conspicuously avoiding the agencies with actual fraud like the Pentagon. Why? Well, because Elon Musk is a defense contractor himself, and he doesn't want to do a single thing to disrupt that gravy train. He's fine with disrupting your Social Security and Medicaid, but he doesn't want the money to stop flowing to Tesla and all of his companies, SpaceX, you name it. And this was something that Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib pointed out. Like, if you want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse, why wouldn't you start with the Pentagon?
They have said that they want to shut down the Department of Education. All I keep thinking about is all of our children and students living with disabilities. Where are they going to go? Because those other schools never want them. The National Labor Relations Board. Do you know we still have a wage theft crisis in our country continually? People having the right to organize and them getting shot down over and over again. We need the National Labor Relations Board. And FEMA. I mean, over and over again, we've seen disaster after disaster. They have also set their eyes, and you know this from the beginning, the Social Security Administration. But, you know, last year we saw the Pentagon budget go to $895 billion. So why didn't they start there? Why didn't they start with the Pentagon? The Pentagon can't even pass an audit. We know this. 7 audits. You talk about efficiency? No, in Detroit, we know you're lying. This is not about efficiency. It's because maybe Elon Musk, as Congresswoman Omar said, maybe it's because the $20 billion in federal contracts. That's where it is in the Pentagon budget. Maybe they have too many friends that have military defense contractor companies. Maybe that's why. Or maybe it's because members of Congress who vote to pass record-breaking Pentagon budgets actually benefit financially, personally, because they own stock in defense contracts. Maybe that's why they didn't start with the Pentagon budget. If they really, truly wanted to root out waste and corruption, they would have started with the Pentagon.
Bingo. That tells you everything you need to know. Elon Musk isn't doing this for us. He's doing it for him. Republicans aren't shrinking the size of government for us. They're doing it for their corporate donors. And side note, why isn't somebody like Rashida Tlaib or Greg Kasar the leader of the Democratic Party? I mean, that's a rhetorical question. I know why. But there are so many other talented people, so many leaders like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Maxwell Frost, Ilhan Omar, and others. But yet, we're stuck with Hakeem fucking Jeffries, who's currently sucking up to Silicon Valley billionaires in order to repair the party's relationship with them, as opposed to repairing the relationship with the base that they lost during this last election. And don't even get me started.
Oh, we need Bill Burr to run. We need Bill Burr to run for fucking office or something, or some local thing, or DNC chair, or some shit.
Started on Chuck Schumer in the Senate. But, you know, it's worth noting that things wouldn't be as bad. Like, Elon Musk wouldn't be able to as easily loot these agencies for himself if we had a competent opposition party. But that's a different story for a different day. The point is that billionaires have hollowed out our government. And this has been done systematically over decades. But now it's culminated in this moment where I feel like it's not hyperbolic to say we're a straight up oligarchy. In fact, this was already determined in 2014 when a Princeton University study found that voters have a statistically insignificant impact on policy outcomes, whereas interest groups and economic elites get everything that they want. Why? Because we are a dying empire in a late-stage capitalist system that has devolved into a fascist oligarchy. And because money doesn't necessarily translate into competence or intelligence, we've replaced meritocracy with caucustocracy as well, which is accelerating our decline. So we are truly fucked. And while billionaires are robbing us, they're continuing to push the most divisive politics possible to keep us all fighting each other instead of them. And to get back to Bill Burr, he actually addressed this too on this latest episode of his podcast.
Just the fucking epitome of this time right now. Like how divisive we are, that like, you know, the Gulf of Mexico is now called the Gulf of America. And people get excited. Like, how the fuck does that help your wallet? It's an empty gesture. And then it's also like a racist gesture. Like, that's the white guy that's him saying fuck Mexicans without saying it. You know, like, who has a fucking problem with Mexicans? Like, what is the real problem? This is just such an ugly fucking time.
He's right. And it's important to note that this is an ugly time on purpose. There's a reason why capitalism always devolves into fascism, because people become so desperate that they become susceptible to radicalization. They start to believe the rantings of a demagogue like Donald Trump. I mean, this is why people need to listen to political scientists who explain why these things happen. It's the difference between materialism and post-materialism. Developing countries don't make social progress because citizens there care more about their material well-being, housing, money, security. But as things improve and they develop and the standard of living goes up, citizens begin to focus more on post-material issues, things like social justice and civil liberties. But once their material conditions begin to deteriorate again, they shift their focus back to material issues, and progress towards social justice is stalled or outright reversed. That's what we're seeing right now as corrupt elites begin to use divide and conquer strategies once the bread and circus tactics of the past no longer distract the masses. So Bill Burr is 1,000% right to be angry with billionaires. We all should be angry with billionaires. If you're not mad, you're not paying attention. I get that that's a cliche, but it's so true. There's no such thing as a good billionaire. And if we lived in a just world, all of the money that these elites stole from us would be seized and they'd be jailed indefinitely. And we shouldn't forget about the very system that enabled these people to become billionaires in the first place, capitalism. That is how we got to this point in the first place. It's because of capitalism. And the system that created this outcome is not going to be the system that's going to save us.
Depressing. Let's check this out before we check out the last video.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
People are aroused. We are aroused. I'm horny.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
I'm trying to
This is the fucking Democratic Party we have fighting for us. Besides Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, these are the old fucks and the dumb fucks who are quote-unquote fighting for us.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
Bro, get people in the streets to march, to rally, to protest, you dumb bitch. Jesus fucking Christ, do something. Get this motherfucker out of here. Get Hakeem Jeffries out of here.
It's their government.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
So fucking cringy, bro. You need more than that.
Hey, does anyone else wake up every morning with an overwhelming feeling of existential dread? Because that's where I feel like I'm at these days. It's already bad enough that our fascist president is effectively second in command to a Nazi billionaire who's basically the de facto president at this point. But to add insult to injury, their opposition is so feckless and incompetent that it's hard to not just write them off as controlled opposition. Now, with that being said, there are Democrats who have stepped up. AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, Jamie Raskin, Maxwell Frost, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, not to mention Democratic governors like J.B. Pritzker, Tim Walz, and Andy Beshear, among others. But the problem is that the few Democrats who actually are effective communicators aren't in actual positions of leadership. Instead, the faces of the opposition to fascists includes Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who are useless and, quite frankly, fascist collaborators themselves. And I say that because they've made it clear that they don't want to fight the Republican Party. They'd rather hold hands with them and sing Kumbaya, or we stand with Israel in lieu of Kumbaya.
We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel.
Oh my god, dude. This is so fucking sad.
We stand with Israel.
Do you not feel inspired by that? Doesn't it make you feel all warm and fuzzy when the leaders of the Democratic Party lock hands with a Christian nationalist in support of an ethno-nationalist regime doing a genocide? I mean, I personally feel so fucking encouraged to see that kind of unity. It's beautiful, right? But to be clear, the Democratic Party's leaders aren't just morally bankrupt and painfully out of touch. They are also deeply fucking incompetent. Case in point.
The public did not give Trump a mandate to dismantle the whole chunks of the federal government. Gave him a mandate to, kick the tires, check the...
He didn't give no mandate, bro. A mandate is when a president wins by overwhelming numbers, by like 99%. Trump won by like a 1% margin. He barely won. He didn't get a mandate. So when Democrats are coming out here saying he got a mandate to do this, he didn't get a mandate. He did not get a fucking mandate. These Democrats are fucking worthless. This is the guy that AOC was running against, and Nancy Pelosi made some phone calls from her fucking hospital bed because she fell and broke her hip. She made some phone calls to get this dude elected over AOC. These are the Democrats that are fighting for us. These old pieces of fucking trash that don't know anything.
And make sure that things are running well and efficiently. In that part, he has a mandate.
Why the fuck are you saying that Trump has a mandate on national television when he doesn't? This election was not a landslide. He does not have
That's what I'm saying. It's so stupid. These Democrats, bro, are dumb. There's only a few good Democrats.
Mandate. He won by a 1.5% vote margin, and yet you think that gives him permission to unilaterally permafuck our government into oblivion? And you're saying that on TV? What is wrong with you? By the way, this is the Democratic Party's guy. They passed up AOC to give this guy the top Democratic position on the House Oversight Committee. He's the face of the resistance among House Democrats, aside from Hakeem Jeffries. They had the choice between a young, popular, and charismatic leader with a massive social media following, and they opted for that guy, a 74-year-old centrist with terminal cancer. But to be fair, his tweets have actually been popping off lately. For example, one of them almost got 60 likes on Twitter, and there were only 15 comments this time exclusively.
That's so sad! AOC gets thousands of fucking likes and retweets and comments, and bro, this is fucking sad. Oh my god.
Shitting on him.
Democracy literally does die in darkness. I see that now.
So, glass half full, am I right? But I've got another example. So the DNC just voted to replace their old DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, who was promoted to that position, by the way, after losing an election. Great choice. And they had some pretty decent choices, right? Ben Wickler, Fayez Shakir. But instead, they went with the guy who boasted about how the party is definitely still going to take money from billionaires. But don't you worry, they're only going to take money from the good billionaires.
There are a lot of good billionaires out there that have been with Democrats who share our values, and we will take their money, but we're not taking money from those bad billionaires.
Here, thank you, Joe Martin.
That tone-deaf comment right there should have been disqualifying. But he said that, pissed a bunch of people off, and then the DNC thought, let's make that guy the DNC chair.
Oh my fucking god, dude. This is why the Democrats keep fucking losing. So pay attention, everybody. Please. We can't make these mistakes again. We got to get all these people out of fucking politics. Get them out. Call their fucking offices. Get them out. Tell them you don't like them. Tell them they're not doing enough.
Democrats are incapable of reading the room. We're in an era where you have celebrities like Ethel Cain and Bill Burr publicly saying we should Luigi billionaires to thunderous applause, yet the DNC chair is pretending like there's actually good billionaires when he knows that's an insidious lie. Now, to be clear, I don't want to create a false equivalence by shitting on the Democratic Party, because even though I do believe that both parties are bad, they're not equally bad. They're not even comparable. Democrats are a moderate party, which I don't like because I'm a leftist. But the Republican Party have spiraled into basically what can only be described as a fucking death cult at this point. One is obviously worse than the other. But for nearly a decade, the Democratic Party has tried to coast by simply by not being Republicans. They've convinced themselves that that's good enough. That's all they have to do. Just say, hey, I'm not the Republicans. Look at how bad they are. Aren't we reasonable in comparison? But as this last election taught us, the people just, they want more. They expect more. They deserve more. And the sheer evilness of the Republican Party should, in theory, be viewed as an opportunity for Democrats. They could be the party that's opposed to everything that these fascists stand for. They could give us an alternative vision with a concrete plan to actually make it a reality. They could do a bunch of things, but they're not. They're squandering this opportunity. The party as a whole is just too entrenched in the status quo and too beholden to their corporate donors to enact any sort of meaningful changes, at least internally. And leadership, they just don't want to take the party in a more bold and progressive direction. That's part of the reason why they got to that leadership position in the first place, aside from the fact that they can raise a lot of money, but they're fundamentally incapable of meeting this moment. And we have to acknowledge this if we're going to fucking survive. Somebody on Twitter put it best. They said that we need wartime leaders in this moment, not technocratic managers of the status quo who finger wag at the bad things that Trump is doing.
Yeah, we need a billion Bernie Sanders and AOCs and Ilhan Omars. Like, we need fighters out there. Not literal fighters that, you know, but like, I mean, we need people that that project strength. Say, no, we're not fucking dealing with Elon Musk. We're not dealing with this shit. He's breaking all these laws. Take him to court. Fucking protest outside of the offices of these people. You need real leaders at moments like this. Like, goddamn.
We need a South Korean-style opposition party that will put their bodies on the line, climb through windows, scale buildings if they have to, if Doge is going to lock them out of government agencies. We need rabble-rousers who will do everything in their power to uproot the status quo, but instead, we got Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. I'm sorry. We cannot just sit back and accept that this is our fate and accept that these are going to be our leaders during this time. The only chance we have of surviving these next couple of years is to have new Democratic leaders who actually know what the fuck they are doing. And there isn't a single person who believes that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are up to the task, because they aren't, and that's very obvious. For example, Chuck Schumer signaled his intent to preemptively capitulate to Republicans ahead of a funding showdown to stop a government shutdown, and he made it...
Oh my God. If there's a government shutdown coming, and you are the Democratic Party, and you have no power because the fucking Republicans won, you use the government shutdown to get what you want. They want you to vote for the government to not be shut down. You say, no, we're not going to vote for the government to go back up until you give us what we want, which is get Elon out of there or whatever the fuck. You got to fight. You got to be strategic and fight. Holy shit, these Democrats are so weak. Oh my God, we're cooked. This country's going to collapse. This country's fucked. This country's fucked if these are the Democrats we have. Oh my God. I'm terrified.
It's clear that he's ready to seek a bipartisan solution to keep the government funded. But I mean, this is a major piece of leverage that he just gave away.
Yeah.
Republicans control all branches of government, so Americans will blame Republicans if there's a shutdown. Use that to your advantage. Shut down the government if you need to. Shut it down until Trump agrees to stop breaking the law with Elon Musk's Doge. Make them come to you. Don't go to them. They need 60 votes in the Senate. Make them earn those votes. You should be obstructing every single thing that they do. I mean, I don't understand why this isn't something that's just obvious to them, right? Due to Trump what McConnell did to Obama. Don't even let them name a fucking post office. Stop.
When Obama was running, guys, remember when Obama ran and he wanted to do all this stuff and put in his own Supreme Court people and put in his own Congress, whatever. Bro, Mitch McConnell, this old piece of crap, old man that just the other day he fell down some stairs or whatever. He's dying. He's so old. But he blocked everything Obama did. He blocked everything Obama wanted to do. He didn't let Obama do anything. This is what we gotta do now. We gotta block these fucking Republicans. Oh my God, they don't know how to play. They don't know how to do politics. I don't know. It's so sad.
Them from doing anything. Learn how to wield the minimal amount of power that you have. Slow down everything. Demand roll call votes. Call for a quorum. Then don't give them a quorum so they can't do shit. Do your best to bring the entire government to a halt. And while you obstruct, also rebuild bridges that you broke, right? Rebuild the trust that you lost with communities, the Arab American and Muslim community, young people, marginalized people, people of color. But that's just not happening. They're not doing that right now. It feels like they're doing shit. Instead, Hakeem Jeffries is actually trying to rebuild the only bridge that matters to him, I guess. As Politico reports, Jeffries met with more than 100...
Listen, instead, they're doing this.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
People are aroused!
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have?
They just wanted National Democrats to do more. Now, Chuck Schumer defended himself, arguing that they were pushing back against Trump, but this supposed pushback was almost exclusively through better messaging, and better is doing a lot of work here, right? So Schumer put Cory Booker in charge of the Democratic Party's social media strategy, and I'm just going to read this paragraph from the New York Times to show you what I mean. Quote, last week, Mr. Booker delivered a PowerPoint presentation to fellow Democrats about how to deliver their message online. In the slides, which were obtained by the New York Times, Mr. Booker offered his colleagues guidance on how often to post on each platform. Instagram, once or twice a day. Facebook.
This is how they're fucking fighting back against Trump's illegal fucking constitutional takeover. A Russian-style coup of our government. This is how the fuck they're fighting. Listen to this.
Once a day. LinkedIn, 3 to 5 times a week. X, 2 to 5 times a day. TikTok, 1 to 4 times a day. In other words, that's their idea of...
They're just posting on different websites a few times a day. Oh, kill me, please. Oh my God. Oh my God. These people are so... How do they have jobs? How does this work in this country? Can I get a job, please?
You know, since the underlying problem is a messaging one, then all they have to do is make sure that they make more social media posts more effectively, and then voila, you're back in the good graces of the American people. Like, they genuinely do not understand that it's not a messaging problem. I mean, that could use work too, sure, but it's primarily a policy problem. You can't just say that you think Trump's policies are bad, because we already know that. That's insufficient. The key is to provide people with solutions to these problems.
Yeah,
so that
you can't. It's not enough to just be like, that guy's bad. All right, we know that. What do you got? You got better solutions? Are you gonna do like Medicare for all? You gonna tax the rich? Are you gonna stop Elon? No. That guy's just bad. Oh, all right. Well, let me just go on with my day then. That guy's bad. I guess I know that for sure now. The Democrats told me that.
That way, they're not looking for answers from a demagogue fascist like Donald Trump. And once you present an alternative vision to voters, you then have to fight with everything you have to enact that vision, right? Meaningfully deliver for them. No excuses about the parliamentarian. No bullshit excuses that we never hear from Republicans. They just do what they can to push through whatever the fuck they want.
You guys don't know what the parliamentarian thing is. When Biden was trying to pass through the Green New Deal or something, he was trying to pass something through. Biden then somebody used a parliamentarian. There's this weirdo that works in the government called the parliamentarian, and apparently he could stop anything from happening. But that's not true though, because when Trump was in office and the parliamentarian tried to stop him, you know what Trump did? Trump fired the parliamentarian, and then he got to do whatever he wanted to do. So the Democrats see the parliamentarian, they're like, oh, this is a dead end. We can't do nothing. We're fucking stuck. Parliamentarian stopped us. Oh, wow. Fire him. Put in a good parliamentarian. But the Democrats are so fucking feckless. They are so weak. This is why we lose.
Want to push through. We want you to wield power in the way that the evil people wield power.
Yes.
But they just don't get
Yes,
it. And to
please.
demonstrate this, Hakeem Jeffries went on Jon Stewart's podcast, and to describe this interview as painful would be an understatement. Just listen to what Hakeem Jeffries says when Jon Stewart asks him why Democrats don't have their own version of Project 2025.
Where is the Democrats' Project 2025? Is that underway? Where's the infrastructure to do that? And who are the leaders taking charge of that effort? Because when I listened to, I believe his name is Ken Martin, is that correct? The new
That's right.
DNC chair?
That's right.
He kept saying it's a messaging issue, as though, no, everything's going right, you just don't realize it yet. As opposed to, we've gotten away from New Deal values. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I think there's a few things going on here.
Yeah.
In terms of how we better communicate with the American people, Maya Angelou said it best. People won't remember what you say. They may not even remember what you do, but they will always remember how you make them feel. And I think what we have to do a better job of is making the American people feel that we understand the pain that they've been in economically.
First of all, this guy has...
Bro, he talks like a robot. He sounds like a robot. He doesn't sound like a human.
no riz whatsoever. Second of all, we don't need...
No charisma. He said it. No riz. Yeah, the young people say no riz. That means no charisma.
to feel listened to, Hakeem. We need to feel our material conditions drastically improve. I mean, why even bother to listen to us if it's just going to go in one ear and out the other? And I'm sorry, don't give me this bullshit that you're listening to voters, because over the last year or so, voters have been begging you to stop supporting the genocide in Gaza. And what has the party collectively told us?
They didn't stop it, and now they lost. And now they blame fucking Gaza supporters and pro-Palestine people. They're like, why don't you criticize us less? Stop criticizing the Democratic Party. Maybe then they would have won. No. Maybe they should have fucking listened to their voters, done what the voters wanted, which is stop the war, and then they would have won. But they didn't do that, and they fucking lost. It's up to a politician to get the voters, the people's votes. It's not up to the people to vote for the guy, a politician. It's up to the politician to get the votes of the people, not the vice versa, not the opposite.
To get fucked.
They lost.
So you're not even good at that too. Now, sure, you might have listened to your constituents at town halls. They chewed you out. But, you know, it's not going to mean anything if the listening doesn't translate into action. But he doesn't get it. And even though he goes on to cite issues that Americans face, like the cost of living and inflation, which indicates that he's listening to us, he only responds to that by saying we have to do something about it, while not explaining what the something is. There's no specificity here. And as you're going to see, Jon Stewart is going to try to gently guide him to the right direction by hinting that it's a policy problem, not a messaging problem, but Hakeem does not take the hint.
They're stupid. They don't get it. Let's see.
Living in an area of entrenched economic pain, right? And I've got a party saying, we've got to understand what you're going through and we've got to do something. At a certain point, those are just platitudes. You know, you've got Trump out there going, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deport these people, trans people. They're the ones that are causing your problem. These people are going. Everything is specific and pointed and planned, right? Where is that? Like what's the playbook?
So politically, I think one of the reasons why we've seen the pendulum swing back and forth, it went from George H.W. Bush to Bill Clinton to George W. Bush, George W. Bush to Barack Obama to Donald Trump to Joe Biden back to Donald Trump. And
you're getting me dizzy.
It's a dizzying swing of the pendulum with very different people who have very different ideologies. What's consistent? The American people have a constant desire for change. Why? Because no one has solved the fundamental problem.
That's interesting.
Now, here's the thing about Democrats. Under Barack Obama, we did deal with the healthcare affordability crisis. The Affordable Care...
Kinda, maybe he didn't do a lot. You know, the Obamacare wasn't the best thing. You know, it was kind of Romney care, and they just slapped Obama's name on it because the Heritage Foundation. Anyways, continue, guy. Continue, liberal. Democratic leadership guy.
CARE Act has been transformational. We were doing the work. Perhaps we were not speaking as forcefully as necessary to say, you know what? We understand.
It's amazing how he came so close, but then he crashed and burned at the last second.
It's not about how forcefully you speak to people or whatever the fuck you're talking. It's about your policies suck. Your policies suck. We need Medicare for all. We need to tax the rich. We need to invest in the fucking economy, in our roads, infrastructure, schools, daycares. Bro, the climate change is happening. What the fuck is this guy talking about? We need to forcefully tell the people what we believe so they believe us. Bro, oh my God, dude, we're fucked. We're so fucked.
It's true that the pendulum does swing back and forth between Democrats and Republicans, but the reason why that's happening is because neither party is enacting the transformational change necessary to actually improve material conditions. But he thinks that the Democratic Party did. He actually thinks they delivered, and they're just not good at telling the voters the transformational changes that they made. And the example that he uses is the Affordable Care Act. Really? If that were true, wouldn't the pendulum have not swung back to Donald Trump after Obama's second term? Wouldn't Hillary Clinton have won? So good job proving my point for me. But the ACA, I'll admit, is an improvement, yes. But it's still a neoliberal healthcare plan originally devised by the Heritage Foundation, which is the organization that wrote Project 2025. I think we can do better than that. I think you know what the base wants, Hakeem. We want Medicare for all, but he can't commit to that because the party's health industry donors would abandon them if he did. And this comes back to this conflict within the Democratic Party's tent.
We need to stop taking money from these corporations because then we can never do anything. You can't take money from billionaires or corporate PACs because then we're not going to get big change done because they're too scared to do the big change. He didn't bring up Medicare for all because he takes money from health insurance corporations, and they don't want Medicare for all. This is why we can't have people that take money from billionaires. It's fucking stupid. It's counterintuitive.
They want to be the party for Americans who want healthcare to be a right, but they also want to be the party of the health insurance CEOs. They want to present themselves as business friendly, right? And the problem is that the tent has become so big that it's now ideologically incoherent. You know, if the party is big enough to include progressives and Republicans like Liz Cheney and poor people and rich people, that party is not long for this world. The structure of the party is collapsing in on itself. You have to pick a fucking side. But I mean, they kind of did, right? And it wasn't us. Now, that interview, believe it or not, got worse. And Jon Stewart is going to acknowledge the benefits of the ACA while trying to get Hakeem to see that it's obviously inadequate, but watch how he responds to that.
It has gotten, I don't know how many millions of people health insurance, but the way that it's done it is sort of a Republicanized, almost like a privatization. It's kind of, if you will, a subsidy to the insurance companies.
Yeah, that's basically what Obamacare is.
A promise that, like, look, if you take people with pre-existing conditions, we'll give you from the government $500 a month to subsidize these plans that we will have access to. But we're not going to fix what's at the heart of.
By the way, if you're liking the content so far, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of our healthcare system, are the Democrats not thinking big enough to change the relationship between, you know, this whole idea of having to fight to lower insulin costs, as though that's like, you know, oh, we got 10 drugs that we can now negotiate with. Like, don't they have to be clearer, stronger, and change that relationship to get government to deliver these services directly and effectively?
Well, I think the Affordable Care Act, it's been an interesting journey, and
I like that phrase.
You see how these people talk? It's been an interesting journey. Not like, oh, yeah, it was a good bill, or it was a decent bill. These people, like, they talk with all this fucking Jordan Peterson, like, philosophy, fluff. Like, oh my God, dude, please just get it out. Get it out of your mouth. Just talk like a human being.
No, a very important one.
Yes.
In terms of what has happened transformationally, you're talking about more than 100 million Americans with pre-existing healthcare conditions who now have coverage because of the Affordable Care Act. When that battle was being waged, and I wasn't in Congress at the time,
right,
it was still unclear, John, in America, whether healthcare was a right or a privilege. That was an open question. It's no longer an open question. We at least understand that.
Now he's going to say, now it's a privilege. You have the privilege to get health care.
Access to high quality, affordable health care.
Access. Listen to that word he puts. Not that we all deserve it as a human right, but you have the chance to get access.
Is a right.
My point is, are they too comfortable within a system that seems not to be delivering? And do we need to take an approach that is more clear and direct to say to people, like, if healthcare is a right, I'm not sure that the ACA is the most efficient way of delivering that right.
I think it's a fair question, certainly, that you're asking. But, you know, the way that healthcare has developed in the United States of America has been a far too cumbersome and complicated system. And what we've seen is a series of steps that have been taken to try to make it as equitable as possible. You've got Medicare and then Medicaid.
Now, he goes on to gish gallop about the history of incremental healthcare reform while never addressing the elephant in the room, Medicare for all. And I had to cut out a lot from that because there's so much fluff that the clip would literally be like 6 minutes long.
Bro, he had fluff, that Jordan Peterson shit. I told you.
If I didn't try to cut it where possible. And if you watch the full thing, I swear to God, it's so insufferable. It feels like I'm listening to Hakeem Jeffries go over a PowerPoint plan where he's like, here's our 4-point plan. Here's our 3-point plan. Here's our saying. It's an acronym. It's insufferable. I don't think he understands that we don't want to listen to this. We want to hear from a human, not a robot. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed what he did there, but he said before the ACA, it was debatable about whether or not healthcare was a right. But then he switches it. And he says, now they've established that access to healthcare, that is indeed a right. But Hakeem, we just saw what you did. You are a fucking weasel. You did a switcheroo, and you didn't think that we would notice. See, there's a difference between the right to healthcare and the right to access to healthcare. You added access when we didn't want that. Like, you misconstrued what we said. You hijacked our messaging and you inserted access in there, and you're now pretending like you've delivered on the thing that we asked you.
Access basically removes the right away. Like, access means like no right. You just had the access to buy it. When you have a right, that's Medicare for all. Like, you have a right to health care. You're gonna get it by the government. It's gonna be the same quality health care as like the government officials, like politicians get, like the Henry Reed Hospital. But no, once you add the access part, that means no, it's no longer a right. You just gotta, you're allowed to buy it. Hey, get on the market.
You for when you didn't. You know you didn't. And therein lies the problem. They don't want to give the base what it wants because they've made the decision to prioritize donors over the voters. It's that simple, right? And he thinks that the doublespeak and the platitudes is going to suffice, that we'll just take it and eat it up. But he doesn't realize that that's not going to be sufficient any longer. People are fucking pissed off, and they're not taking those talking points. To show you what I mean, just take a look at the comment section under that video. Usually John's podcast episodes give me food for thought. This time it helped lull me into an afternoon power nap. My God, this can't be the future of Democratic leadership. Jeffries is the embodiment of everything wrong with this party. Under Obama, we did deal with the healthcare affordability issue. No, you dealt with insurance coverage issues. Healthcare is still unaffordable and run by insurance. We need single-payer healthcare. Bernie interview, amazing. AOC interview, inspiring. This interview, painful. Establishment Dems clearly don't have a plan.
This is how I feel. For real. These guys gotta go, bro. These establishment Democrats gotta fucking go. They suck. They're sucking the soul out of the Democratic Party. Young people hear that shit and they wanna... We want to just, like, forget about politics. We want to give up. We want to give up. Literally.
Stewart gave him a billion chances to say single-payer health insurance, and Jeffries just couldn't do it. Pathetic. This was frightening. We have no serious opposition. I wasn't expecting much, but I was expecting something. I can't. This guy and Schumer are the two Democratic leaders in Congress. They have the charisma and drive of a wet mop. We need fighters, and we need them now, like AOC and Crockett. Less BS talking, more action. I don't think I've ever stopped one of these podcast episodes early, but I couldn't get through this one. I want to scream. Where's our Project 2025? Anyone, please? We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas. The Democratic Party. Is Jeffries capable of having a substantive conversation without sounding like he's ticking off talking points from his checklist? The future of the party, indeed. No, Hakeem, it is not about telling Americans you understand how they feel. It is about solving problems. Americans don't want you to keep telling us you understand. They want you to fix shit. And every time you all get power to fix shit, you don't. That is the problem. And I kid you not, every single comment that I saw was against Jeffries. These are liberal viewers of Jon Stewart's podcast. They are not.
Bro, I'm glad some liberal viewers are like waking the fuck up and like realizing that this party is run by fucking corporate Democrat pieces of trash that don't want to fix anything. They don't even want to fight Trump. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know if they're scared or what, but oh my God.
Republicans. They just want a party that is going to fight for them. And what we saw was not any assurance whatsoever that Hakeem Jeffries is going to do just that. And this is part of the reason why the Democratic Party lost. It's not so much that Trump and the Republicans won, but I think it's because the Democratic Party, they lost. They just didn't turn out enough of their base. They failed to listen to and mobilize their base. I mean, in the last month of Kamala's campaign, she spent that time courting Republicans as opposed to progressives who were weary about her Gaza policy.
Why? She was trying to get like fucking Kirsten Sinner, what's her name? I forgot her name. Anyway, she was trying to get Republicans. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're the Democratic Party, not the fucking Republican Party. Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my God, she was palling around with Liz Cheney, which is basically Dick Cheney, which he's a war criminal under Bush. It's his daughter.
And it's just so frustrating because the Democratic Party's base is fired up and angry, and that's a good thing, right? The Democratic Party should use this, but they're doing nothing to harness that energy. In fact, they're actually mad that their constituents have the audacity to call their offices and ask them to do their jobs. I'm not making this up. Axios reports, quote, members of the Steering and Policy Committee with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries in the room on Monday complained activist groups like Move On and Indivisible have facilitated thousands of phone calls to members' offices. People are pissed, a senior House Democrat who was at the meeting said, of lawmakers' reaction to the calls. The Democrat said Jeffries himself is very frustrated at the groups who are trying to stir up a more confrontational opposition to Trump. Wow. There were a lot of people who were like, we've got to stop the groups from doing this. People are concerned that they're saying we're not doing enough, but we're not in the majority, said one member. Some Democrats see the callers as...
You don't need to be in the majority of power to do anything about it, you fucking losers. Oh my God. They're like, we're not in the majority. We can't do anything. We're not in the majority. Bro! The majority of Americans are on your side, Democrats. The Republicans are a minority. They're a minority of the fucking country. What Trump is doing is so unpopular. Get in the streets. Tell people what's going on. Put posters all over the fucking roads and streets about what's going on, about Elon. Do commercials about it. Do fucking, I don't know, do something. Oh my God. They act like they can't do anything.
Barking up the wrong tree given their limited power as the minority party in Congress. It's been a constant theme of us saying, please call the Republicans, said Representative Don Beyer. They're calling their representative, dumbass. Yeah. Quote, I reject and resent the implication that
The least we can do as voters, like me and stuff, is call our fucking representatives. Call John Fetterman. Be like, yo, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like that you're voting for all these Trump people. Why are you voting for them? Shut the Senate down. Don't vote for them. You know, you gotta ask them to do something. That's the least we could do. And they're complaining about us calling them. They're complaining. That's what? That's your job. What else? Oh my God, we gotta fire these people. We gotta fire these people. They literally don't even want to do their job. Oh my God. They're complaining that people are calling their office.
Democrats are simply standing by passively, said Representative Richie Torres. Unbelievable. Now, to be clear, these progressive organizations that they're pissed off with, Move On, Indivisible, they're telling people that these are specific things that your elected representatives can do to obstruct Donald Trump. And they've told people that they can call their elected officials and recommend that they do these things if they don't think they're fighting hard enough.
That is the least in a democracy that people could fucking do before getting in the streets and doing protests and maybe potentially riots. Like, come on, dude. They're literally calling you politely and like asking, hey, can you, like, don't scream at them, you know, but call them, say, hey, can you please do this, that? I don't think you're fighting hard enough. Don't vote for this. Because John Fetterman's out there voting for pro-Israel shit. He's voting for border stuff, like closing the border, kicking illegal immigrants. They're kicking every immigrant out. It doesn't matter. They don't care about illegals. And he's voting for all that shit. It's like, what? What are you doing, you fucking ogre?
And after getting thousands of calls from Democrats, the response isn't, wow, it seems like people are really pissed off. Let's use this to our advantage and channel their anger. Instead, the response has been, how dare you insinuate that we're not doing enough? The hubris, it's just unbelievable. Now, when it comes to Richie Torres in particular, he's not just sitting on his ass. He's been collaborating with fascists in Israel for more than a year and antagonizing his own constituents who are begging him to stop supporting a genocide. I mean, this man represents the poorest district in the country, but he spends all of his time representing Israel. And on the subject of fascist collaborators, I'd be remiss to not let you know that Congressman Ro Khanna is trying to position himself currently to be the progressive successor to Bernie Sanders in a future presidential run. But this man cannot be trusted, okay? And I say this as somebody who's spoken to him.
Yeah, I don't trust Ro Khanna, bro. He's been doing some weird shit. He's gonna talk about it
personally, who acknowledges that he has graciously offered to come on the show after I've criticized him, and I give him credit for that. But the problem is that over time, the fuck-ups add up, and they become blinding, where you can't see anything but the fuck-ups. So he missed a vote to subpoena Musk, and then he gave the excuse that he didn't know. Okay, fine. Now, that's suspicious still, but what makes it worse is the fact that if you look up the Friends of Doge, Ro Khanna is one of just a couple of Democrats listed as a friend of Doge. So
oh my God, what the fuck are you doing?
Sorry, Ro, it looks like you're a collaborator and not a resistor. That's what it looks like. You could prove me wrong. Now, Jared Moskowitz was on there too. He's been criticizing Doge on TV, but yet he's a friend of Doge, according to Doge. So there's a lot of snakes in the Democratic Party, and I think we need to be mindful of the fact that even if a Democrat says the right thing and claims to be an ally to progressives, it's not unreasonable to have a healthy dose of skepticism. It's not unreasonable. You're not purity testing if you look at the actions and you say, hey, this isn't really lining up with what you say. With that being said, the main problem is leadership at the end of the day, because they set the standard that everybody else follows. And Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, they've made it clear that it's okay to prioritize corporate donors over your own constituents. They've made it clear that there's no penalty for members who basically become turncoats and vote with the Republican most of the time. They haven't done anything to light a spark under the asses of other members of Congress to get them to actually do what their constituents want and fight Donald Trump. There is a leadership vacuum in the Democratic Party, and the people who actually want to fight, the younger, more progressive members of Congress, they need to be elevated to leadership, okay? Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, they have to step down.
They gotta go.
Even though they're fed up with our calls, call your representative, okay? Politely ask them.
Bro, I'm going to call them right after this fucking stream. I'm going to leave their ass a message. I'm going to leave their asses a fucking message. If any of you guys watching, please call these people. Call Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Look for their numbers online. Call them. Call their office. Politely tell them, please step down. I don't think you're doing enough. Step down. I don't know. You know what I mean? Tell them they're not doing enough and to step down. I'm sorry. Resign.
To oust Democratic Party leadership, because it's not a matter of them being pure enough for us. It's a matter of them not being able to meet this moment. It's a matter of survival as far as I'm concerned, and we are not going to survive Trump's presidency if those assholes are in power still, if they're the face of the resistance.
All right, that's awesome video. Check this out. Subscribe, guys, to him. The Humanist Report. Hey. All right, move on. This is Thunderfoot. Subscribe to him. Like, he made a video about Elon Musk.
So that's what the Californian forest fires would look like if a pyromaniac tried his best to burn down the US government. Gotta admit, this one's rattled me, in that this one has the potential to snowball big time. Now, Musk, of course, said that he would never settle an unjust case. And, of course, Musk settled a case about fraud charges, so he's either a fraudster or a liar, or both. Now, there'll be some who say, okay, giving an unelected fraudster the absolute power to unlawfully fire loads of federal employees and shut down whole departments might not have been great, but hey, maybe we can build something better back from the ashes. Well, the problem, of course, is unelected bureaucrats with absolute power and no experience of government whatsoever. You're never entirely sure what they're going to build back afterwards. You see, Musk on paper doesn't have power to do any of the things that he is currently doing. You know, gaining access to the Treasury's payment system. And someone might have commented, imagine giving unrestricted access to the Treasury to an unelected immigrant with immense business interests in China. Then, having gotten the keys to government, immediately getting admin access. And just to be clear, you do not need admin access unless you intend to make changes. And with admin access, you can really crash the bus. Big time. There are no more safety rails once you have admin access. And he gave the keys to this crack team. Remember, guys, waiting to hear why what we're doing is stupid from people who spent decades.
Look at these fucking dorks, bro. This guy's the worst of them. This guy is a fucking sociopath. Holy shit. He has a website that links to like pedophiles and KKK racist sex shit. Oh my god, they're all gross, bro. They're all fucking dorks that need to be stuffed in lockers. I'm sorry. This guy looks a little scary. He looks like he could stab somebody.
Working with this system would be slow. I mean, none of us have a single experience of working on this system, so we're gonna have to break an awful lot to figure out how it works. Remember, move fast and break things. It's the only way of learning for tech bros. Yeah, move fast and break things. Not such a great motto if you actually want a country to live in. And the idea of Elon Musk using AI to work out how to make the federal spending more efficient by feeding it all the data he's stolen is just kind of dumb.
No
business taxes.
You know, I asked Musk's AI on Twitter, Grok, to do something simple, like make a clock with the time 6:30. Yeah, I'm not quite so sure this is ready to gamble your entire country's future on, or shutting down multi-billion-dollar departments. Yeah, that's just not something Musk or Trump have the power to do. Congress has the power of the purse. Well, if laws actually mean anything. And of course, it's set up like that for a reason, to make it hard for people to gain absolute power. Now, if you think that Musk, with his literal no experience in government, has a plan or goals here, with his crack team of one guy who's already resigned because he was overtly racist, you know, literally saying, I was racist before it was cool, only for Musk to have a Twitter poll to say that he wants to rehire him, and another guy who was fired as an intern for leaking company secrets, you know, the sort of thing that would be an instant fail on any security background check. With the great idea of giving admin access to such people, which means they can do literally anything to the system. Yeah, if you think there's a plan behind all of this, you've just not been paying attention to his modus operandi, which is kick over loads of things and set lots of fires, and then just tell all the people who tell you
Yeah, Elon Musk is like addicted to ketamine. He's like always using it.
But yeah, we just watch you kick over loads of stuff, set it on fire, and cause loads of damage. There is no plan or genius here. The Emperor has no clothes on. Now, you look those people in the eye and say with a straight face that they're just too stupid to understand your fifth-dimensional chess. As he say, wipes 80% of the value of Twitter. Now, if you think that Musk legally looked into anything that he's done here, you're crazy. The only thing that's really pertinent here is these would be...
Bro, I can't wait for all these people to go to jail, dude. I'm just hoping. I'm waiting and dreaming for that moment where they all go to jail.
Federal crimes.
Oh, my God.
The thing is, the president can pardon people for committing federal crimes. The problem is if you establish lawlessness as being okay in government. That's the point when you come back a week later and you don't have a country. Now, Trump got off to a start by pardoning all of the January 6th rioters, including those who violently assaulted police officers.
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries!
That is, everyone in these images who was prosecuted for a violent crime has now received a presidential pardon. And then went on to announce that he was going to purge the FBI of anyone who had even thought about prosecuting someone like this. When violently assaulting the Capitol with the intent of changing the election results is deemed acceptable, and trying to stop it is deemed as unacceptable and something that should be punished. That's the moral death of the country there, and it's just been executed on stage in front of everybody. And the media just rolls on to the next story like the moral death of the country.
Yeah, he pardoned all of these people, and one of them was a pedophile. I'm gonna say that, Fredophile. It's a nicer way to say it. And then another guy was I think another guy got arrested right away because he had a gun on him. Like he shouldn't have had a gun, and he had a gun. So all these people are criminals, weirdos. One was a pedo, and that's Trump.
Country was just another news item. Reading from the Department of Justice conviction of just 2 of these people. There have been few instances in our nation's history when our fellow citizens have engaged in a seditious conspiracy, conspiracy to use force to oppose the functioning of our government. More people were convicted of seditious conspiracy in connection with the siege of the Capitol on January the 6th than any other criminal event since the statute was enacted during the Civil War. Today's sentence affirms the rule of law and imposes substantial consequences on Rhodes and Meggs who, together, conspired to violently attack our government and our democracy. The defendants and their co-conspirators also collectively employed a variety of matters and means, including organizing into teams, blah, 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 transporting knives, batons, camouflaged uniforms, tactical vests with plates, helmets, eye protection and radio equipment to the Capitol grounds, breaching and attempting to take control of Capitol grounds and the building on January the 6th in an effort to prevent, hinder and delay the certification of the Electoral College vote, using force against law enforcement officers while inside the Capitol on January the 6th, and continuing to plot after January the 6th to oppose by force the lawful transfer of presidential powers. To which Trump says, nah, that's fine. When people can see actions like this and just say it's fine, that is, they can be told that black is white, up is down, cats are dogs, and they will either just accept it completely or just passively accept it. I mean, if laws are just fancy words that don't really have any effect on you if you're powerful, well, why shouldn't Trump just announce that the old Constitution is too old? And not a lot of people know it, but it's
I've worked on the data annotation platform for the last couple of
machine learning is old, and that we need a new constitution, one that more reflects MAGA and the 21st century, written with tech bros and AI. If laws don't mean anything.
However bad you think it is, it's worse. Yes, the Supreme Court has effectively given law-breaking presidents, and we're not singling any one law-breaking president out or anything, could be any felonious president, almost absolute immunity from criminal prosecution.
And when the president does it, that means it's not illegal. Who would stop him? Because honestly, I think a lot of his base would like the idea of a MAGA-centered constitution. So when Trump was last democratically elected out of office, it ended like this. And these people are now all pardoned, and the FBI is going to be purged of anyone who would take action against people like these. Further, new hires are actually put through loyalty tests, where they're asked questions like, who was actually on the right side during the January the 6th riots? Yeah, I think you're pretty bloody optimistic at this point.
Bro, it's all just like fascist, weird. It's all fascist shit. It's all fascist, right-wing, scary, authoritarian shit. Like, this is what dictators would do to take over power. You know what I mean? And now Trump's in there, and now he pardoned all his fucking insane followers that did all that crazy shit. So he has like a bunch of soldiers now. He has like his own little militia now on his side. If he ever tells him to come out.
And Echa, I think that Trump is just going to peacefully leave office in 4 years. You know, my original plan was just to follow Musk till all of his scams crater big time. Now I'm not sure if that crater actually involves half of the United States as well. Yeah, I'm looking at America and I'm not sure the country has the structural integrity to survive what Musk and Trump are currently doing to it. Now, none of this, of course, will make eggs any cheaper or make any of Musk's scams magically appear somehow. But it's a hell of a pivot from promising vaporware sports cars and literally delivering nothing a decade or so on to just stealing the keys to the government and looking for a good cliff to drive that car off. You know, one where Trump gets to stay president. After all, what's he got to lose?
Supreme Court has already said that nothing the president does in his official capacity can be criminal, so TLDR.
So I'm afraid I too am going to gloss over the moral death of America. You know, in that if this is right, what is there actually left to call wrong? Yeah, I don't know if there's enough left in the judiciary to stop Trump, but in all reality, you're...
Remember, guys, Elon Musk is trying to go after every agency that's going after his companies. He's cutting every agency. At least 11 federal agencies that have been affected by those moves have more than 32 continuing investigations pending on complaints or enforcement actions into Mr. Musk's 6 companies, according to the review by New York Times. Transportation Department, they're going after SpaceX. Interior Department, going after SpaceX. Justice Department, going after SpaceX. Because he's breaking so many fucking crimes, he doesn't give a shit. He's a billionaire. Billionaires are not good. They think they're so powerful, they don't care. Because they get slapped with a little fine, a little slap on the wrist, a little $1 million fine, a little $10 million. They have billions of dollars, so they don't care about breaking the laws. Agricultural Department, going after Neuralink. That's the fucking brain chip that he wants to put in people. That's horrifying. National Labor Relations Board, going after Tesla for union busting. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, going after Tesla. Because they're racist. They don't hire black people and shit. They treat black employees like crap. Securities and Exchange Commission, going after Neuralink, the brain shit. Defense Department, going after security clearance because he doesn't have security clearance. He's breaking all these crimes, bro. Federal Election Commission, going after complaints. Office of Government Ethics, going after oversight. So they're all going after him, and he's going after all these departments, slashing them, cutting them, firing people. So there we go, billionaire in office, dude. It's crazy.
Best hope for him leaving office peacefully now is probably because he's old. So let's take a look at something a little more lighthearted, like how someone selling ludicrously expensive vaporware cars came to be the person trying to burn down the US government. The Tesla Roadster is the archetypal Musk fraud. Promise something amazing. Well, in the Roadster's case, simply impossible, in that the battery would have been bigger than the car. Damn. All you need to know is Musk took $250,000, $250,000 deposits off 1,000 or so people in 2017. That's 8 years ago now. And thus far has delivered them exactly nothing. It's not just...
He's a scam artist, guys. He's a scam artist. He's good at selling himself. Like a vision of himself, and then all these stupid magazines and newspapers and media companies just give you like, oh, he's a millionaire genius, and then like people just run with that because we don't know better. We work all day. We don't have time to do research and find out all this stuff.
He didn't deliver them this sports car, which was going to do everything. He's delivered them literally nothing.
I'm maxing everything out. Yes! I'm gonna see what happens. Oh my god. Me. Everything that
Let's just watch a tiny fraction of those claims, shall we? Full in the knowledge that Musk is going to deliver nothing in 8 years' time.
It was the foundation of the whole company. It was the Tesla Roadster. People have asked us for a long time, when are you going to make a new Roadster? We are making it now. Be the fastest to 100 miles an hour, 4.2 seconds to 100 miles an hour. These are all world records.
Actually, no, they're all vaporware records.
I wouldn't say what the actual top speed is, but it's above 250 miles an hour. The range, this is going to have a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack.
It's all bullshit. He just lies. He said we were gonna be on Mars by like 2025. He said that like at 2021, I think. Maybe 2018.
606. These numbers sound nutty, but they're real.
No, they're not.
620 mile range. That's a 1,000-kilometer range. This would be the first time an electric vehicle.
Yeah, this is Elon Musk standing in front of a shiny red car and doing make-believe improv for 10 minutes straight, while the fanboys just eat up every single word of it. But don't just stop there. Just promise that the car where the battery would actually be bigger than the car will have lots of spare space.
So it has all that functionality with 4 seats. No.
It's like if a compulsive liar decided to really let themselves go.
Yes!
You know, people paid for their cars 8 years ago, and 8 years later, they're getting nothing. And there's no prospect that they will ever get anything. Then realize that this is exactly what happened with the solar-powered trucks.
And because these mega chargers are solar powered, your truck is running on sunlight. Every truck we sell will have enhanced autopilot as standard. Even if you're in the truck and you have a medical emergency, the truck will stay in lane and gradually come to a halt and put on the emergencies. If it doesn't hear a response from you, it will actually call emergency services and get an ambulance. It's going to take care of you. It's going to take care of other cars. It's going to take care of pedestrians. This is a massive increase in safety.
Bro, what a fucking bullshitter. This is how you become a billionaire. By lying to people. By tricking people. By stealing people's money because you're fucking lying. This is how you become a billionaire. It's never a good way. It's always scamming people, taking workers' money, not paying workers enough. Like, dude, it's not good to be a billionaire. I'm telling you. Maybe if you have $1 billion, just $1 billion. Okay. Nothing above that. I'm sorry.
This is real. These are real numbers. And it only gets better than this. This is a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, miracle sports cars, solar trucks, tunnels, the Hyperloop, and solar roofs, and landing humans on Mars by 2024. The only constant over all of this time is that when Musk makes a remarkable promise, you can be guaranteed that he won't deliver on it. Needless to say, putting Musk in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency was not on my bingo card this year.
Yeah, we're fucked. This is the dumbest person ever, and he's in charge of our government now. We are so screwed. I am so terrified for my child and our future and humanity. Honestly, we're
because it's one of the most stupid things that you could possibly do.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cat.
But yeah, the overwhelming expectation, given Musk's previous vaporware promises, is that optimistically, this is going to end up with somewhere between 0 and a rounding error in savings for the government. I mean, it's certainly going to be less when you consider the damage that declaring a trade war on basically everyone else in the world is going to do to your economy. You know, we had a saying back in the Brexit day that no country had ever been stupid enough to impose economic sanctions on itself. To which Trump just puts up his hand and says, hold my beer, and that you're going to invade and occupy Gaza. I mean, ignoring for the moment the fact that the whole world's got a pretty dim view on the idea of ethnic cleansing as a solution. But let's just add to that the fact that when your Department of Government Efficiency gets involved in this ethnic cleansing, the optics are unflattering. And that's ignoring the fact that basically every entanglement that the US has got involved in the Middle East has been a disaster. And it's going to do all of that and reduce US spending by 30%.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
You see, Musk might have argued that he knew something about cars. After all, he did buy a car company. Knows absolutely diddly he did buy a car company. But Musk knows absolutely diddly squat about government. Musk delivering nothing here is probably the best possible outcome. See, governments are typically intertwined and complex structures, like, for instance, a plane. Now, optimistically, Musk might not make the plane any more efficient, but at least he won't crash it. But the more likely outcome at the moment, given that you've got someone fiddling with it who doesn't know anything about what he's fiddling with, is he'll take a look at the brake system, for instance, and say, well, we only use this for an absolutely minuscule fraction of the plane's time. Just think of all the money we can save by getting rid of it. Then going on a ketamine bender on Twitter, claiming that the plane's brake cables have been spending trillions of dollars to send condoms to Gaza and was in fact a criminal organization. Just look at all the evidence. Yeah, all this totally outrageous spending that Musk has uncovered that shows that US aid is a pit of vipers is just stuff that he, kind of made up. Anyway, the last couple of weeks have been busy for Elon Musk. Not so much in changing their own website, but instead having a go at burning down the rest of the US government. You see, Congress might have the powers of the purse, but Musk has a workaround for this. You basically just burn down the whole building. All those protocols to keep your data safe, they're happily now in the hands of these 20-year-olds. Yeah, this is going to end poorly. But you can rest assured that these people with no experience in air traffic control or air traffic control systems are going to upgrade the aviation system. And while Musk is claiming that he's basically solved the problem by just destroying the entire department, we spent the weekend feeding US aid into a wood chipper, could have gone to some great parties, did that instead, tweeted Musk. Thing is, it wasn't his to chip. He's basically bragging about having caused billions of dollars of damage to the US government. As Congresswoman Jacobs said, this is illegal. Neither Donald Trump nor Elon Musk have the authority to eliminate USAID. Only an act of Congress can do that. Lawsuits are underway and we're doing oversight to try and stop this. In reality, all Musk has done here is saddle the government with the cost of 10,000 unwinnable, unlawful dismissal cases. Which is why just a few days later, a Trump-appointed judge reversed the Musk order telling people that they're all on administrative leave and should expect not to have jobs in a week or so. You see, Congress has the power of the purse for a reason. The president has to spend the money allocated on US aid. If laws are actually going to mean anything. Because if laws don't mean anything, then this isn't going to end so well. So what is it Musk thinks he's destroyed? Well, a department with some $50 billion budget that on its face was simply to provide aid and supply to the people in most need around the world. It sounds like a nice virtuous thing that Americans might actually feel good about. For the amazing cost of less than 1% of
Look at how much they're like literally cutting the programs that don't even cost that much. They're cutting the programs that help other people. It's so fucked up. If they wanted to actually go after like fraud, go after the fucking Pentagon that fucking failed 7 audits. It's failed 7 audits. The Pentagon, 7 audits. They don't know where the money's going. It's just a black hole of money. It's fucking corrupt. But no, they're not going to cut that. Because Elon is a contractor and he gets some of that Pentagon money.
Federal budget. Let's just say that the optics of making America great again aren't driving in the same direction as America can no longer afford 1% of its federal budget for humanitarian aid. But a more cynical man who spent way too much time talking to political scientists would take a more cynical view of this, which is this is just the soft power arm of the US military, providing significantly more bang for the buck than the military does for what is effectively 5% of the US military budget. Its entire workforce for a worldwide organization was some 10,000 people. For reference, that's roughly enough to man about 1.5 supercarriers. The US military has 11 such carriers. Soft power is basically gaining influence without having to bomb people. It turns out that people really like gestures. It's not so much how much you give them, it's the fact that you are giving it to them. It is the gesture that counts. And in the case of aid, what you're actually giving them is pretty cheap stuff. But you're giving it to them in the point where they need it the most. There is basically no more effective way that the US could spend the money to gain influence than giving aid. And then, as if by a miracle, I came across the JFK speech where he's founding USAID. And shock and horror, it's exactly what I said.
Restaurant store.
30 chairs, non-squeak, non-wobbly table.
The people who are opposed to aid should realize that this is a very powerful source of strength for us. It permits us to exert influence for the maintenance of freedom. And as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you. And you working with the people in those countries to try to work with them in developing the economic thrust of their country so that they can make a determination that they can solve their problems without resorting to totalitarian control and becoming part of the bloc.
In fact, let's see what the current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has had to say about USAID
This
in
guy fucking sucks. This guy sucks so bad.
the past.
Across his 14-year Senate career that he was constantly praising and defending foreign aid.
We don't have to give foreign aid. We do so because it furthers our national interest. That's why we give foreign aid. Now, obviously, there's a component to foreign aid.
This is a Cuban that hates Cuba, this guy.
That's humanitarian in scope, and that's important too. I promise you it's going to be a lot harder to recruit someone to anti-Americanism, anti-American terrorism, if the United States of America was the reason why they're even alive today. Anybody who tells you that we can slash foreign aid and that will bring us to balance is lying to you. Foreign aid is less than 1% of our budget.
Marco Rubio, of course, went from this
There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
to serving as Donald Trump's Secretary of State in 2024.
So what do you think a Trump government would look like, Senator?
It would be chaos. No one knows, but it would look probably like the positions he's held for all these years.
So let's take a look at the greatest examples of waste the Musk claims to have found, just how little evidence he actually provides for any of this, as his purported reason for wanting to shut down a $50 billion department. So here we are on the official White House webpage saying that USAID waste abuse runs deep. And it's like, here we go, 1.5 million. And you take a look at the link, and the link is for the Daily Mail. Really? The Daily Mail.
Daily Mail is right-wing trash news.
The 70,000 DEI musical, Daily Mail. Or 2.5 million for Vietnam, Daily Mail. Or 47K for Colombia, Daily Mail. The source
Like, none of this is probably true. Like, the Daily Mail, you can't trust the Daily Mail.
is the paper that printed about Crabzilla terrorizing England. So, in this new article, they claim that the entire source of the article is a congressman told them so. There's no evidence presented for any of this. No links, no nothing. And that's the source used by the White House to make these claims.
Through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland.
You'll be stunned to find that there's no evidence that any of this actually happened.
$47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either.
But even if everything that she said was true there, it's less than $2 million over, what did she say, several years. Even funnier if you go on her premise here that just because it happened under an administration, that meant it was a priority.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on.
Well, the last item on this list is growing opium in Afghanistan, which has a link to this news article from 2018 when Trump was president. So apparently, growing opium in Afghanistan was a priority under a Trump administration. And what were the numbers on that? Hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, that was a massive priority for Trump compared to every single other item on this entire list.
And I would note that in just a matter of a couple of weeks, they've already found considerable waste, fraud, and abuse, in particular within USAID.
They're just gonna keep lying about this and keep saying they found fraud and abuse when they found nothing. It's they live in a different world where what they say is truth. It's crazy.
Among the things they discovered that the previous administration was spending money on.
Come on, Ted. Tell us how Trump was spending hundreds of millions of dollars to fund opium growth in Afghanistan. It's literally there on the White House's webpage.
Funds for the production of opium, the primary ingredient in heroin, in Afghanistan, which chiefly benefited the Taliban.
For those who don't remember, the US invaded Afghanistan in 2001, and the occupation went on for some 20 years. The US then left, and the Taliban took over the country again in about 2 weeks. The war cost America something in the region of $2 trillion. This $2 trillion...
It was a bullshit war. We got robbed. They robbed us of our money for a bullshit war.
Dollars was essentially just pissed into a hole with nothing to show for it. Ironically, the $15 million that Ted is about to complain about is probably some of the better spent money in Afghanistan.
And $15 million for contraceptives and condoms in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan.
Bro, who cares? They need help. They need condoms. Like, what the fuck?
You will forgive President Trump and the American people for thinking these expenditures are unnecessary and wasteful.
Says the man with a convenient blind spot for the $2 trillion that was pissed into a hole in the ground with essentially nothing to show for it. You know, for the $2 trillion wasted on the Afghan occupation. Ted has proudly identified $15 million, which wouldn't even be visible on this chart, and said, well, that's proof that USAID is wasteful. But the reason it's dumb is Musk and Trump talk about this thing being completely infested, yet the most egregious examples they can find over some 6 years of spending, that's what, $300 billion, 300,000 million dollars is maybe what, but a stretch, $10 million. That's one part in 30,000. That's like pulping an entire functional aircraft carrier because you didn't like the choice of paint. But what's this? Musk is tweeting out another video where they're saying they spent tens of millions of dollars to send celebrities to Ukraine.
This video claims the U.S. government's main overseas aid...
Bro, it's all fake news. Like, it's crazy. They're all just spreading bullshit, fake news, and, like, no one knows what to believe anymore. It's crazy.
Agency, USAID, has paid Hollywood celebrities millions of dollars to visit Ukraine and has been amplified by high-profile accounts like Elon Musk and Donald Trump Jr. There's just one problem. It's not real. E-News, an entertainment media outlet whose logo appears in the clip, told journalists the video is not authentic and was not produced by them. And Ben Stiller, one of the celebrities featured, says his trip to Ukraine was completely self-funded.
Hey, my English not so good.
Do you mean?
Yes, I'm...
Researchers from Check First, a Finnish analytics company that has independently investigated the network, say they have found clear evidence that links these videos to Russia.
Sorry, the best evidence that US aid is infested with leftists and Marxists is completely made up Russian propaganda retweeted by Elon Musk. Look, if this really was about
the king of fucking misinformation, dude, these people don't care about misinformation. They don't care about spreading Russian misinformation.
Out finding and eliminating fraud, that's no problem. Everyone would be for that. Everyone likes seeing a good fraud get busted. You know, I kind of made a YouTube channel out of it. Thing is, Musk, you've always been on the supply side, not the busting side. But even if you just take Musk's proposal that he's there to stop frauding government at face value, there are already government departments that have been doing that for decades, where their sole goal is to ensure that the money is spent where it's meant to be spent. You're not doing that. You're claiming that you're finding fraud everywhere. It's completely infested. And then your evidence for that is what? A few examples for which there's no evidence and Russian propaganda. Ironically, it might actually be that fraud is one of the reasons that Musk is so keen to take down USAID, in that it was a contract from USAID some years ago that gave Musk millions of dollars for Starlink. Let's see, according to USAID, there were 5,000 terminals and they charged some $15 million for them. That's $3,000 per terminal. Whereas the terminals at the time actually cost about $500. Well, the terminals suddenly became 6 times more expensive when Musk was getting...
See, this is how you become a billionaire, y'all. You fucking rip people off. Like I said.
Government money for them. Curiously, Musk's Department of Government Efficiency didn't find this as waste, fraud and abuse whilst going through USAID's records. He then offered the Ukrainians internet at $4,500 per month, although most people apparently only took the somewhat cheaper $500 per month option. If only someone had covered it at the time. Yeah, none of this came out of a clear blue sky like 2 weeks ago. I've been covering this vaporware for the best part of a decade. And if you like what I've done, I've been told that hitting like helps videos like this out in the algorithm. And of course, if you really like what I've done, you can support this channel directly through Patreon.
Hit the like.
So yeah, maybe the easiest way to make the investigations go away was just to simply destroy the entire department. And even if you fail to destroy the department, you can cause enough chaos that'll undermine any future lawsuits against you. In fact, a cynical man might say that Musk is just targeting all the government departments investigating him for fraud, which is, all of them. Now, I don't know too much about the details because, you know, their website's taken offline and all that sort of thing. But in all likelihood, of all the things that America spends 1% of its budget on, USAID probably provided more bang for the buck than most. Now, thanks to Elon Musk, he's told them that they're all on leave and about to be fired. Or he could have just retired 10% of the carrier fleet, which would have had zero effect on the operational effectiveness of the US military, and kept all of the advantages that USAID delivered. Except the way Musk would have done it. Snort enough ketamine to floor a rhino, then get in a helicopter and just blow a hole in the side of the ship in the middle of the Atlantic. Tell the captain to check his email that he's fired and that the crew must sign the non-disclosure agreement before they'll be allowed to get into the lifeboats. Then tweet out that you had just investigated the ship and found it was infested with radical leftist Marxists. Evidence for that? Well, he tweeted it, so it must be true. I mean, really.
That is literally how they're acting in the government right now. They're pointing at government things and they're like, "Oh, that's woke. Oh, that government program's woke. We gotta cut it. Oh, that's DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, we gotta cut it. Oh, that's CRT, critical race theory. Oh, we gotta cut it." It's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Yo, you guys are just like, they're robber barons. They're robbing our government.
Elon lied to you?
All right. One more, then I'm gonna head out.
This caught my eye. I'm surprised this hasn't blown up more than it has. I've seen like a couple rumblings about it. Somebody just put the text of this on Twitter, and then I had to look it up myself. And so Bill Burr does his podcast, the Monday Morning Podcast, and he had a moment that many lefties saw and got a little eyebrow raise out of it, like, "Oh, okay, Bill, we see you." So here, I'll play it for you. He's going after billionaires.
Dude, this is so the amount of people that are struggling out there because of these fucking billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much fucking money in this country. And there's so much work being done, you know. And if you work a full fucking week at a job, you should be able to pay your fucking rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get another fucking job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country. Because then the kids don't see their parents and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking... These fucking billionaires, they need to be put down. You know, like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed.
Let's go.
And just going out and just dividing everybody.
Yeah.
You know, just the fucking epitome of this time right now. Like how divisive we are that, like, you know, the Gulf of Mexico is now called the Gulf of America. And people get excited. Like, how the fuck does that help your wallet? It's an empty gesture. And then it's also like a racist gesture. Like, that's the white guy that's him saying fuck Mexicans without saying it. You know, like, who has a fucking problem with Mexicans? Like, what is the real problem? This is just such an ugly fucking time. Yeah, that just sucks. That sucks.
So, Crystal, in my experience, exactly what he's saying and how he's sounding, this is what I'm seeing with a whole bunch of liberals, with the majority of liberals. Stuff that you couldn't imagine like 5 years ago them saying.
Yeah.
Like, you got to put these billionaires down like rabid dogs.
Yeah, and they're like, yes.
Never would have thought, you know, a liberal would have said that 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. Now I'm seeing Luigi posting from standard-ass resistance liberals. So something's happening.
Something's
happening where people are waking up.
The biggest difference from this, with regard to the Democratic Party, from this Trump administration and the first one, is the first one, liberals really felt like, oh, Nancy Pelosi and like these Adam Schiff and these people, like they're our heroes, and Joe and Mika, blah, blah, blah.
And mainstream media.
Yeah, and this time they are disgusted. Like, they are utterly disgusted. And that is one thing that is different, and it's also hopeful. It creates a possibility. To talk about Bill here, I mean, he nails it. And I actually, the part of it, he's done, you know, anti-billionaire sort of like class war type commentary before. So that part didn't surprise me. The part that surprised me more was his commentary about Gulf of America.
But that's also what I'm seeing from liberals and leftists now. Is like everybody's like, it's a full court press on all issues.
Yeah.
We're no longer doing we'll meet them halfway on the social issue. Now it's like, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, bitch. Because the reality is, if Trump can get away with talking about Arnold Palmer's cock and filleting a microphone on stage and saying that immigrants are eating cats and dogs, which they're not, it's a lie. How come he can get away with all this fucking insane shit? But I'm supposed to not say trans people deserve rights?
Yeah, right.
Like, fuck off. No, that's not happening. I'm going to fight you on every single issue and I'm going to win.
Well, and the Gulf of America thing, too, the way he frames it is...
Here it is. I want to see this clip by George Carlin before I close out.
The most affordable 12-month GLP-1.
George Carlin! Basically, George Carlin was the first Bill Burr, basically. And Bill Burr is basically turning into the George Carlin of my generation, I guess. Because George Carlin died around 2008.
Bright, folks. Not too bright, folks. Not too fucking bright. But if you talk to one of them about this, if you isolate one of them, you sit them down rationally, and you talk to them about the low IQs and the dumb behavior and the bad decisions, right away they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. They say we need more money for education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. And you say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that, and the kids still can't pass the test. They say, don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. And that's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. Got a pencil? Get the fuck in there, it's physics. Then everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education! Politicians know that word, they use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind? Someone's losing fucking ground here.
Remember the Head Start? There's a Head Start program for kids. and then kids are being left behind.
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security.
They are.
Money.
They're coming.
They want your fucking retirement
They're
money.
coming.
They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
In the land of the tyrant, where the sun never sets, we march to the beat of